How are you feeling? How long have you been here?
3 months, May 17th.
And what brought you?
That's difficult to answer.
Eventually resulted in your being here in the hospital.
That's difficult to answer.
this the end? There's a noise inside my head of crying people facing death. Is this the end? Is this the end? I'm burning in the stone. There's no place to hide. I'm burning in the stone. This is the final fight. What have we done to the world? What have we done to the world? I'm burning in the stone. There's no place to hide. I'm burning in the stone. This is the final sweet dreams are made of these. Who am I to disagree? Travel the world and the seven seas. Everybody's looking for something. Some of them want to use you. Some of them want to get used by you. Some of them want to use you. Some of them want to be out you.
Won't anybody help us? What are we running for? When there's nowhere we can run to anymore. We can't afford to be innocent. Stand up and face the enemy. It's a do or die situation. We will be invincible. And with the power of conviction, there is no sacrifice. It's a do or die situation. We will be invincible.
Who the fuck is Carlin? She's just some sweet lady. She's like in a knitting. She does like a knitting stream. She's like a knitting YouTuber. She does knitting.
Can we grow up a little bit and
Alt
not
Girl
be
sent $200.
retarded?
Have you
Please.
seen the work of Karlyn Borysenko? Anti-commie cult leader and is obsessed with looking at what actual far-left communists are talking about and organizing today, infiltrating them. They infiltrated the universities, schools, media. She has the receipts to back it up. Primary source evidence. Infestation is dire and she calls Republicans idiots eating slop. Agree.
Thank you for the big super chat. Yeah, oh, I know Carlin B. She's solid. She's funny. I
The
like
great
her.
noticer sent $200.
Literally.
So
not
it's,
Ian.
it's not because I haven't dangled my junk into the combat zone on purpose to get some camera footage, but that's the big part of what's the
Is
problem.
that what you call reporters?
Go
and live
under, if
streaming?
you're going to do it,
Yeah,
go
seriously.
undercover. Otherwise you're wearing a hunk of meat in a lion's den. Nick Shirley, I love you. Take care of yourself, man. Karlyn Borysenko went undercover. Do stuff like that. Like if you want to expose this thing, don't pariah,
But
please.
Ian, here's and I agree with you to an extent.
What's up? What's up? What's up, everyone? Happy Friday. How's it going? How's everyone doing? You know, it is a super, super, super nice day in New Hampshire today. Why does my audio sound weird? My audio really should not sound weird, but it does. Oh well, I'll just have to get used to it. Doesn't really matter. If it sounds fine to you guys, it sounds fine to you guys. That's all that matters. Anyway, it was like 70 degrees out in New Hampshire today. And so after I made clips from Spy Stream last night and did all the responsible things I should do, I decided I'm going to go take a walk outside because it's really fucking nice out. And one of the places I usually go to take a walk is there is a big ass outlet mall like 2 miles away from my house. And so and the outlet mall is really nice because the outlet mall is very well kept. There's a lot of space to walk around. There's greenery. I can go into the stores and look at things if I want to. It's just a great place. There's almost no people there during the week. And so like midweek, if you have like an outlet mall near your house, like going and walking around the outlet mall, it actually is a very peaceful experience that's oftentimes much nicer than the gym, I have to say. Anyway, so I went to the outlet mall and I had no intention of buying anything. I always look around, but at some point, like I go around and walk at the outlet mall like quite a bit. So I know pretty well what's there if I need something. But like you just look around at stuff because like it's what you do. And I was like, I ended up going into an American Eagle store, which for me is not a store that I've ever actually shopped in, but it was connected to another store I was looking at stuff in. But I was like, why don't you just look around? Like, what else are you gonna do? You're walking around an outlet mall, Carlin. So I walked into this American Eagle store, and one of the reasons I have never shopped at American Eagle is because, quite frankly, I have a booty, and none of the pants fit. For years and years and years, one of the biggest struggles I have had in my life, maybe some women can relate to this, is finding jeans and pants that actually fit my ass and thighs and didn't look horrible and also fit around my waist because I have a booty, and regardless of whether I have children or not, I have birthing hips, okay? I just do. And some people like that and some people don't. I can't really control it. I'm not talking like an unnaturally large ass or anything, but like large enough so that finding pants that fit both my waist and my ass has always been a problem throughout my life. And American Eagle was just not one of those stores that I was ever able to find pants in. And so basically, for years and years and years of my life, the only place that I would buy jeans or I would buy pants was the Gap, because the Gap had pants that had stretch in them, and so they actually fucking fit me. And it was just like, I like when I find something I like, I don't like thinking. I know it might seem like, okay, Carlin, you shop all the fucking time, so you think about clothes and stuff all the time. Well, I think about bags. I think about jewelry, like this Black Swan Swarovski bracelet that I got. Look at this. Look at this. I got a Black Swan bracelet at Swarovski. How appropriate is that? I think about stuff like this. I might think about watches. I might think about sunglasses. I don't, when it comes to clothes, I am very much like a creature of habit. And if I find something that fits me and that looks nice and that is a price range that I'm willing to pay, because I will not spend the sun, the moon, and the stars on really anything, but like definitely not clothes. I wear like t-shirts and jeans. I don't need to be spending a lot of money on clothes. If I find something that fits, what I do is I buy a dozen pairs of that thing, and usually in different variation in color. And then I literally just wear one brand because what like it's so difficult to find pants that fit me that has just always made the most sense to me. It's the same with t-shirts. I through the magic of whatnot have discovered that I really like off-white t-shirts. I really do. They're men's t-shirts, but like if I get like an X small, they fit on me very well. They're super high quality. Off-white t-shirts are very, very, you think it's a t-shirt? No. The fabric is super nice. It's very breathable. It's just like, it's really, really high end. So I discovered through the magic of whatnot that I really, really, really like Off-White t-shirts. And P.S., a lot of them look really fucking cool. Not everything Off-White has is like awesome. I think a lot of Off-White clothes are actually very generic and boring, but the ones that look fucking cool look cool, okay? So now, because I've discovered this, I am starting to amass a collection of Off-White t-shirts that just like, that's what I'm wearing now. Honestly, when I'm not here, and I wear my own merch when I'm on the stream, and my merch is awesome as well. Honestly, like my t-shirts are fucking awesome. That's why I sell them in the merch store, redmenacesupply.com if you're looking for that. But that's why I sell the t-shirts. It's like they're fucking awesome. I have like 5,000 of them. I design the t-shirts that I like, so they're the ones I want to wear. And so I just buy my own fucking shirts, or now I buy Off-White. So now my closet is full of my t-shirts and Off-White t-shirts and really good sneakers and purses and all that stuff. Anyway, I tell this story. It's a very long-winded way of telling the story because I'm kind of just killing time for more people to get their asses in here. I was shopping in American Eagle today for the first time. And I probably haven't been in an American Eagle in 20 plus years. I don't even know. And I was just walking around and I spotted a rack of pants. And these were cool pants too. And the thing is, I'm losing so much weight so quickly. I am going through pant sizes, guys. I was wearing like size 8 jeans today. And these were jeans I bought like no more than 2 months ago. They no longer fit. And so I now have a whole closet full of pants that don't fucking fit me anymore. So I'm like literally going through pant sizes like as quickly as I've ever gone through pant sizes in my fucking life. So I was looking at these pants at American Eagle and they're really cool and they're jeans, but they have jogger kind of like elastics on the bottom. And I really like them. And I was like, okay, those pants look awesome actually. And so then I decided to go try them on and I was looking at the sizes and I was looking at the size 6 and I was like, would this fucking fit me? I was like, I've never been a size 6 in my life. I have fluctuated anywhere from size 8 all the way up to size 14. I never got kind of like into plus sizes. People thought I was like 300 pounds. I really wasn't 300 pounds. I literally never wore plus size clothes, but I waffled between like 8 and 12 usually, sometimes 14. And that was just the way it went. So I'm looking at these like size 6 pants in American Eagle and I'm like, would I fucking fit into these? So I took a couple pairs. I took pairs of varying sizes because I didn't know what was going to fit me. Because like when you lose weight, it's like you all of a sudden have no conception of what your body looks like at all. I truly have. I mean, I know I'm hearing from you guys, Carlin, like you look thin and all this stuff. And I appreciate the compliments. I do. But you have to understand, like, right now, I truly have no conception of what my size is. It's the most bizarre feeling. I have no conception of what is going to fit me and what is going to not fit me. And so I was looking, I took a whole bunch of various sizes to the dressing room and I tried on the size 6 American Eagle pants and they fit fucking perfectly. And I was like, I have never bought a pair of pants so fucking fast in my life. I was like, are you fucking shitting me? Are you fucking serious? I fit into a size 6 in American Eagle pants? That's fucking crazy. And so that was my weird experience for the day. And I really like the pants too. I like the pants and my other jeans that I was wearing are starting not to fit anymore. So, you know, that's kind of like a problem, right? That is a problem. But I wanted to share that because I'm like, I really am losing weight, huh? It's like a weird thing. It's like, you know, and again, like I did this for a purpose. I knew I needed to lose weight to be able to continue to go undercover. Cause I always thought for people who are like, you know, why the fuck did this happen? I had a reason to lose weight in that I've always known how to lose weight. Like, I used to be in the gym all the fucking time. I used to measure out my meals. People on my channel know this. I used to be one of those, when I was doing marathon running, I was one of those crazy people who I ate 6 small meals a day that was perfectly portioned out. I know how to do all the fitness shit. I know how to drop weight quickly if I want to. I've always known how to do that. So people have been harassing me for years and years and years and years and years about my weight. And I'm just like, if you motherfuckers only knew that I could literally lose weight anytime I wanted to, I just don't want to right now because A, I don't want to starve myself for months on end, eating nothing but chicken and eggs and cheese and occasionally bacon and sometimes mushrooms and stuff like that. I don't want to starve myself for months on end with a fucking no carb keto intermittent fasting diet, okay? And also there is something spiritual about listen, okay, not to be too cheesy, but like people know that I'm really into all this psychic stuff. People know I'm very woo-woo. I absolutely do believe I'm an empath. I know a lot of women say that, like, oh, I'm an empath. I'm so empathetic. No, no, no. I'm not the kind of empath that is empathetic. I am not. That's not the kind of empath I am. No, no, no. That's not the kind of empath I am. I am the kind of empath where, honestly, the fact that I can feel the undercurrents, the emotional undercurrents of like situations, I can actually physically feel it, guys. I know this sounds bizarre to people who haven't. I spent years learning to meditate, so I learned how to develop psychic ability and I learned how to develop my intuition. I did so many ayahuasca ceremonies. I did all this stuff, and at some point my third eye blew the fuck open, okay? Not everyone has this experience. I understand that. So I might sound crazy to some people, but I can physically feel the emotional undercurrents of situations. And you can all do this too, by the way. Think about a time when you have just walked into a room and you've known something is wrong. Think about a time. This has happened to everyone at some point, okay? You walk into a room, no one says anything, but you just know something is wrong the minute that you walk into the room. 1 in the chat if that's ever happened to you, 2 in the chat if that has not happened to you. You've just walked into a room and instantly you're like, oh, you don't really know what, you don't know what's going on, but you know something is wrong. 1 if that's happened to you, 2 if that hasn't happened to you. Okay. So look at all the people who are saying 1 in the chat. We've all had that experience, right? That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about when I say I'm an empath. Except for me, it's a lot more powerful in that I can feel a lot of other things too. And if I'm not actively shielding myself from this energy, which there are things that you can do to do that, I oftentimes am a little bit lazy about doing them. I should do them more, but I don't. Just because I do know what I should do doesn't mean I know what I will do, you know? It really can get to you after a while, if I'm being honest about it. But this is why I'm so good at analyzing the socialist stuff. This is why I'm so good at psychology. This is why I can always explain the undercurrents about why people do what they do and the different energies of the different groups, because I spent a lot of years developing my intuition. And then at some point, like, and I've always been an empath, but I really developed it. So what normal people can feel is just a general feeling of like, walking into a room and believing something's wrong without anyone saying anything. I do that all the time with every situation, and I feel it much more strongly than like normies do, for lack of a better term. That's my understanding of the experience. I say this because yesterday on the channel we talked about how I was gang stalked for years and years and years of my life. Think about how it must feel. You guys think the experience was bad from your perspective? Check this shit out. Think about how it must feel to be someone that picks up on the emotional undercurrents of every situation and to have a group of people actively be gang stalking you and harassing you for every day of your life for 2 years in a way that you couldn't control and you couldn't stop, to be riling up hundreds of thousands of people on the internet to come at you. You thought the story was bad just from a factual perspective of these gang stalkers tried to get me to kill myself. Now think about what it must have felt like for me to constantly have all of that energy coming towards me. You want to know why I really gained weight? It was because of that. It was because of that. And the thing is, from a spiritual perspective, when we have more weight on us, we have more padding from that type of energy. From a spiritual perspective, when you have more weight on you, you have more protection from other things. So when I said that I wasn't ready to lose the weight and that I needed a fucking reason to lose the weight. What I was saying was, I'm not ready to get rid of this layer of protection yet, because there's a reason the fucking layers of protection developed in the first place. Okay? And then I was given a reason to do it. And then it's easy. It's easy. And once you, like, for me, I had to make the decision that not only was I completely willing to give up every fun food in the world, except for cheese, I can still eat cheese. I had to give up every fun food in the world. I had to give up ice cream. I had to give up milkshakes. I had to give up carbs. I had to give up I had to give up all dessert. I had to give up so many great foods. I had to give up so many great foods. But you know what? I had a reason to do it, and so that's what you do. But also, I was ready from a spiritual perspective to do it, because I really felt like I had finally overcome the bullshit from all of the gang stalking. I really felt like I had finally reached a place where I had moved beyond all that stuff, and that literally nothing those people ever said and nothing those people ever did would ever bother me again. And for a lot of years, it wasn't like that. For a lot of years, I had to look over my shoulder every day. For a lot of years, I had to monitor all these accounts to try to anticipate what never-ending spree of bullshit was going to hit me in the face today. I had to do that for years and years and years and years. Okay. And so anyway, I don't really know where I was going with that, but just to kind of say that I was actually really excited to go to the outlet mall today and to see a pair of size 6 pants and to actually fit the fuck into them. That was pretty awesome. That was pretty awesome. That was pretty great. And I've never bought a pair of pants so quickly in my life. And that's the way it goes. We got some super chats coming in. Old Sub says, hey, everyone, check out Dr. K's Substack. Some pretty good sticker tags today. Well, let's take a look. Guys, if you want to check out the Substack, you can go over to Carlin, Karlyn.substack.com. And what Old Sub Sailor is talking about here is actually the chat. So what you do on the website, it's different in the app. We just open it on the website. Go into the chat, and you will be able to see Old Sub Sailor posting where he's posting his stickers. You can also download the design for the stickers. He's also posted that in the chat. That is free for anyone to use. So if you want to go make your own stickers and post them up places, I think he's actually posted the one without the QR code and stuff as well in there at some point. So if you want that one, or you want the one with the QR code, whatever you guys want to do is fine with me. I want to encourage everyone to take advantage of these. And as I've always said, guys, if you want to make cool stuff with my logos and go and put them out in the world, just like Old Sub Sailor is, I love seeing these like Plague Doctor tags everywhere. I think it's fucking great. It's like a mystery. It's like people have to figure out what it is. And so if you want to go do this, go download the design, go print off your own stickers, go do it. I really appreciate that, Old Sub. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. Let me get back here. Nick says YouTube will give more notifications if you share this. Yeah, everyone share the stream. That would be rad. Channelago W with a channel membership. Really appreciate that, bro. Really appreciate that. Big bottom high waist. Yeah, I hate the thing of it is, though, I hate high-waisted pants. I fucking hate high-waisted pants. I literally hate them. I literally fucking it's just like it's a problem. Pant size is a problem, generally speaking, but that's okay. That's okay. We're working on it. Sarah with an H, you're correct that spiritually the extra pounds is protective. I'm inspired. Yeah. It definitely it served me well for years until it didn't anymore. And then, whatever. Thank you, Sarah with an H. Naruto, since we're watching Rachel Wilson's whatever podcast episode, I take it Trendlin came through with the Compton's Cafeteria riot recording. Yup. Yes, she did. Yes, she did. And it's really awful. And I don't want to admit it. It's really awful and it's really bad. And I'm really upset about this and I'm not happy. But a few weeks ago, Trendlin said, Carlin, I'm going back to that Compton's Cafeteria riot play, and I'm going to go with my friends. Now, you might be saying, what the fuck is the Compton's Cafeteria riot play? Well, when I was in San Francisco on my little leftist adventure road trip on the West Coast that I did last year in October, I went to the Compton's Cafeteria riot play with Trendlin. This is in the heart of what is called the transgender district in San Francisco. But it's not really the transgender district. It's the queer Marxist district. This is one of the places where queer Marxism, as we know it as an ideology, was really cultivated. Now, one in the chat, if you have heard of the Stonewall riots that supposedly started the so-called queer liberation movement. The Stonewall riots happened in 1969 in New York City. It was a riot against police brutality where the police were coming to this club that a lot of gay people and trans people and all that stuff hung out at in New York and raiding it and all that stuff. And so then they fought back and they took over the Stonewall Inn for like several days. One in the chat if you've heard that, two in the chat if that's new information. The Stonewall riot is the most famous of the queer liberation events and is largely considered to be the one that sparked the movement. I disagree. I think the Compton's Cafeteria riot was significantly more important than Stonewall. One in the chat if you have heard of the Compton's Cafeteria riot before right now. Two in the chat if this is new information. And I know a lot of people in my chat are going to have, you will have heard of this. One in the chat if you have heard of the Compton's Cafeteria riot. Two in the chat if this is brand new information. And it's okay if it's new information. Lots of twos. We got to do a whole queer Marxism week. We got to bring people up to speed on queer Marxism. You guys think all of this anti-ICE shit is crazy? You guys think all of this May Day stuff is crazy that we've been talking about on the channel? Oh, you guys have seen nothing until you get into queer Marxism and queer liberation. That's a whole new fuck off bottle of something. The Compton's Cafeteria riot happened in 1966 in San Francisco, in what was then called the Tenderloin, which is really the homeless, shitty area of San Francisco. And that is now where the transgender district is today. The Compton's Cafeteria riot happened at a diner where a lot of gay people and trans people and all these sexual deviants and all this stuff. Not to say gay people are sexual deviants, but I'm saying gay people and sexual deviants. Okay. I don't want to get any YouTube censors. I don't care who you're fucking, okay? All the misfits would hang out at Compton's Cafeteria in 1966, and they would, do their misfit things, and the owner let them be there, and not a lot of other places let them be there. So the police would always raid the Compton's Cafeteria, and they would arrest the trannies that were being hookers and going after all the Navy sailors and stuff like that, because there was a lot of prostitution and that was going on in that whole space. There were drag queens running around. San Francisco had laws at that time that forbid people from wearing the opposite gender clothing. There were actually laws against this. So the police would raid Compton's Cafeteria over and over and over. At the same time, and I shit you not, this is one of the craziest things. At the same time, there was a little commie group, actual communists, who were recruiting people that went to Compton's Cafeteria and who were having their meetings in Compton's Cafeteria. So you had the perfect storm of drag queens, trannies, people that are breaking the law against sexual deviancy in some way. You had all those people, the queers, and you had the literal communists in a group called the Vanguard handing out their fucking newsletters and recruiting people and having their meetings literally in Compton's Cafeteria. Well, one day, a police officer came into Compton's Cafeteria and he proceeded to arrest a man dressed as a woman who was acting as a prostitute. And then he allegedly beat her up. And I'm using her in quotes, also allegedly also beat her up. Although that whole sentence is in quotes. And then the entire group of misfits that was at the Compton's Cafeteria riot decided to go into open rebellion against the police that continued to come in and harass them. And they threw a Molotov cocktail and they set a police car on fire. And I think someone had broken bones or something like that. There was a whole big riot and melee that resulted with a police car getting set off fire with like a Molotov cocktail or something like that. That was the Compton's Cafeteria riot. That was in 1966. That preceded the Stonewall riot by 3 years. The Stonewall riot was likely inspired by Compton's Cafeteria riot. And we know that this is a part of queer lore because when we read the Mary Nardini gangs towards the queerest insurrection, which I have read many times on this channel. If you want to, I have at least 3 read-throughs of this. So if you haven't read this document yet, please go into the archive on the channel. You can hear me teach a class in this in pretty much any number of ways. I've done it several times now. If you want to understand queer activism in this country, you need to read Toward the Queerest Insurrection. This is one of the most important queer activism documents that has been published in the last 15 years. Every major queer leftist in America has read this document. This document is handed out at all their events. This document was the first publication of the Mary Nardini Gang, who is one of the most influential groups of queer anarchists that has ever existed in this country. They existed in Milwaukee, Wisconsin in the late 2000s up to about like mid to late 2010s. And there are multiple queer Marxist groups that are trying to resurrect the Mary Nardini Gang and queer Marx and queers bash back, the bash back movement. The bash back movement that I always drag Andy No for not knowing what the fuck he's talking about. The bash back movement is directly related to this. Bash back is a militant queer Marxist movement with the pink triangle and the violence and all of the bullshit. That is the bashback movement. It is not called Trantifa. It is called the bashback movement. It has a very specific name, and it is important that we use proper names, Andy, instead of just making shit up, Andy, in order to sell books, Andy. It is important that we use proper names because people need to be able to research this information, and we need to be able to show primary source evidence from the real world about what is going on. And if people see the bashback movement and they don't know what the fuck that is, because Andy No has said Trantifa, 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 Trantifa. There's no such thing as Trantifa, guys. It is the bashback movement. That is the proper name. We are adults here. We use proper terminology for things. Anyway, Toward the Queerest Insurrection is one of the most important influential documents in queer Marxism. W's in the chat for Cynthia with the 5 channel memberships, my queen, my goddess. And if we look in this document, in an appendix, they talk about Compton's Cafeteria riot. This is how we know how influential Compton's Cafeteria riot was. One weekend in August 1966, Compton's, a 24-hour cafeteria in San Francisco's Tenderloin neighborhood, was buzzing with its usual late-night crowd of drag queens, hustlers, slummers, cruisers, runaway teens, and neighborhood regulars. I'm not going to read this whole thing, but basically what this says is Compton's Cafeteria riot was the precursor to the Stonewall riots and to all subsequent riots of this nature. I tried for months and months and months and months and months to talk to Andy No privately. He didn't fucking listen. Then he stole my work without actually giving me credit for it. He started pretending he found it first. And then he started lying about me and promoting people who physically assaulted me because he was pissed off that I was calling him out on Trantifa not being a real thing. And by the way, Andy, I will debate you any day of the fucking week on this topic. I will issue an open challenge, and probably we should be going after Andy pretty aggressively at this when I'm ready to, but I will issue an open fucking challenge. Andy No doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about on this topic because Andy No doesn't even do his own research. Andy No pays someone else to do his journalism for him, and then he reports on whatever goes viral on Twitter. So I challenge Andy No anytime, any fucking place to a debate on queer Marxism, on the so-called Trantifa left, that he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about, but I have been studying this intimately and have been physically in their environments for years and years and years. So I will debate you anytime, Andy. An intellectual discussion. You want to share people who are physically assaulting me at events? You want to support people who are physically fucking assaulting me? The reason you want to do that is you have no intellectual argument to make against me on this topic. I will kick your ass every fucking day in a debate. I don't care how many milkshakes you've gotten thrown on you. You want to pretend to be the expert in this? Then sit your ass down and actually have an intellectual conversation about it. Otherwise, shut the fuck up. I have some feelings there. Okay, so why are we watching the Whatever podcast today? And you're like, Carlin, are we really watching the Whatever podcast? Or are you doing a lesson in queer Marxism? We really are watching the Whatever podcast because Trendlin, who went to this play with me, explicitly about the Compton's Cafeteria riot. You want to know how iconic the Compton's Cafeteria riot is to the queer Marxist left? They literally put on a whole fucking play about it. You can get tickets to this in San Francisco. It's actually a really fun play to go to. I went to it with Trendlin back in October when I was in San Francisco. And it was like the most queer Marxist communist fucking play ever. And I was like, holy shit, I cannot believe I didn't record that. I don't know what the fuck I was thinking. I was like, I just want to go and experience this. I just want to experience the lore and I want to experience the propaganda. I didn't want to have to worry about recording something for once in my fucking life. And I was like, holy shit, Carlin, I cannot believe you didn't fucking record this. Okay. Well, Trendlin texted me a couple weeks ago and she said, Carlin, I'm going to go back to that Compton's Cafeteria riot play with a couple of my friends. And I said, Trendlin, if you get a recording of this play for me, I will watch whatever video you want me to watch and react to. You can pick whatever stupid fucking episode of the Whatever podcast that you want to pick. If you get me a secret fucking recording of this play, I will watch the video you want me to watch. Even if it's awful, and even if I don't want to, a debt is a debt. And unfortunately, Trendlin, the recording that you sent actually did come out.
None of that in here. Or you're gonna get thrown out. Jeez. So you don't believe in a little romance for God's service?
No, it did come out.
Yes, you did.
It did.
You realize
It may not be the cleanest audio ever, Trendlin, but it's more than good enough to caption the shit out of so that everyone can understand what's being said. The recording, it did come out. It's a W. It's a fucking W, Trendlin. It's a W. You delivered. We now have probably the only recording that exists of the Compton's Cafeteria riot play. It may not be a video recording, but you're still going to be able to hear all of it. What a massive fucking W from Trendlin. What a massive W. So I can't really be that upset, I guess, that Trendlin thought it would be a good idea to make me watch a Whatever podcast with Rachel fucking Wilson, who I loathe. Rachel Wilson is one of the dumbest fucking whores on the internet. And I'm saying the term whore literally here because Rachel Wilson has 3 different baby daddies. And I'm just going to say, listen, Rachel, I had a lot of sex in my 20s. I did. I had a lot of sex in my 20s. I did. I never once got pregnant. It is not fucking difficult to not get pregnant. And I just don't think when you're running around saying that you're a conservative fucking trad wife on the internet and you have children with not one, not two, but 3 different people, one of whom I have heard tell you had an affair with, and then he left his wife for you, is my understanding of what happened. I don't really know. I don't actually really care, but well, then you're telling me she's been in 2 failed marriages? That's not a very trad wife thing to do. W's Virgo Moon, thank you so much for the channel membership. I also find Rachel Wilson to be extremely arrogant, and I think that she doesn't actually understand the topic she's talking about when it comes to feminism, by the way. She doesn't know any of the leftist stuff. She's basically going on whatever the fuck Andrew has told her, I think, and she's formed her little story about it. And I just find her to be like one of the most annoying Dunning-Kruger effect whores on the internet. And it's like if she was saying anything even remotely interesting, it's like, I don't like Candace Owens. I don't like Candace Owens. I think Candace Owens is a narcissist. I think Candace Owens is insane. But every once in a while, Candace Owens just says something really interesting. And every once in a while, Candace Owens actually, she does like a good job. Like that USS Liberty interview that she did was great. The Becoming Brigitte series was fucking great. I don't care if you believed her or not. It was very entertaining. It's like sometimes anytime Candace tells off Ben Shapiro and the Jews, I'm like, okay, Candace, I'm here for that. I can usually find redeeming qualities in people, even if I don't like them. Even with Rachel's, third husband, third baby daddy, even with Rachel's third baby daddy, Andrew, when he's debating stupid college girls, is an excellent debater. He can sometimes be really funny. I will absolutely give him that. Andrew Wilson sometimes is really, really funny. I think that he has an obvious debate technique that he uses. I think that he doesn't actually challenge himself to debate people that are smart. I think he purposefully debates people who are stupid because the debate technique that he uses is not made for people who have intellectual honesty and intellectual consistency. It's made to expose intellectual consistency. Or inconsistency rather. So when he's debating dumb people, he can expose intellectual inconsistency very, very quickly. But if you aren't talking to someone who if you're talking to someone who knows what they're talking about, it's a completely different thing. Okay. I can usually find redeeming qualities in anyone. I have never found a redeeming quality in Rachel Wilson, and it wasn't that I didn't try. I did try. I always try to see the best in people. I always try to find things I like, because sometimes you just have to exist around people that you don't like and that you don't agree with. And sometimes it's easier to exist around people you don't like and you don't agree with if you find some sort of redeeming quality. You can say, okay, well, maybe they suck for reason X, Y, B, and Z, but you know what? That part's okay. It's like with Trump, right? Trump sucks on every fucking issue. Except for no taxes on tips. No taxes on tips is fucking awesome. I will keep no taxes on tips. I will, at moments in time, think about how great no taxes on tips is. And for but the brief moment, I will become less angry at how Trump has betrayed literally everyone who supported him. Just for that one brief moment. You can find a redeeming quality in anyone. I have yet to find a redeeming quality in Rachel Wilson, is what I'm saying. So, Trendolyn is punishing me by making me watch this video, and I'm doing it because a promise is a promise, and a debt is a debt, and Trendolyn did something really fucking cool by recording the Compton's Cafeteria riot play, and so now I will repay the debt. I will repay the debt. Let this be a lesson to you guys. If you do something for me that I really value, you can actually get away with a lot. I told Trendolyn like 2 years ago, I was never watching the Whatever podcast again on this channel. And I was committed to that. I fucking hate the Whatever podcast. I'm going to lose at least 10 IQ points today, and I'm not happy about that. But because Trendlin got such a W, I am relenting, okay? We're watching the fucking whatever podcast. I'm not going to do a channel membership goal today, but if you guys do want to donate channel memberships and send in super chats to fund the work I do covering the far left, or maybe if I just make you laugh, maybe if I entertain you, maybe if we just have a good chill day and you're like, this is like the best place on the internet, because I really do believe I have the best chat on the internet. I have the nicest chat. I have the calmest chat. There's no toxicity. There's no bullshit. There's no shit posting. 1 in the chat if I have the best chat on the internet. 2 in the chat if I do not have the best chat on the internet. Let me know what you guys think. 1 in the chat if I have the best chat on the internet. 2 in the chat if I do not have the best chat on the internet, according to you. Yeah. See all those ones? It's a nice place to be. It is a little slice of sanity in the middle of an insane world. All right. I have erected a border around my chat. We have established a fascist dictatorship in my chat. You do not have free speech in my chat. But if you're not being a dick and you're not whining about something and you're not causing problems and all that stuff, you're going to be fine. You're going to be fine. We will deport all retards and toxic assholes from the chat permanently, and we will keep it a nice place to be for everyone. All right. W. Cynthia. Thank you, Cynthia. Thank you for the channel memberships. We love you. We appreciate you. Okay. I have prolonged the agony long enough. Let's go back to the fucking beginning. God damn it, Trendlin. I cannot believe I'm doing this. Okay, let's do it. Let's do it. Everyone, let's go. Let's go.
Debate edition of the Whatever podcast. We're coming to you live from Santa Barbara, California. I'm your host and moderator, Brian Atlas. A few quick announcements before the show begins.
Okay, yeah, exactly. Trendlin, I don't know if there's any fuck off way I'm going to make this 6 hours, but we're going to give it a try. I've got weed. I will be getting high. Don't do drugs on the internet, kids. Obviously, I'm joking when I say I'm getting high. I would never smoke weed. I would never do drugs. Drugs are bad. But I might be smoking something during this stream because I don't know how I'm going to make it through it otherwise. I really just don't. Do as I say, not as I do.
Podcast is viewer supported, so please consider donating through Streamlabs. That's streamlabs.com/whatever. To display a message on stream is $10 and up. We will read out Streamlabs donations that are $99 and up in batches
online.
during breaks.
Yeah,
so if you have a question or a comment, and we might play around with, if you want to suggest a very miniature debate on a prompt.
Ding 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 on Rumble has like the best disclaimer. I got to take a picture of this and I have to memorize this. Ding 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 on Rumble says, disclaimer, my commentary is a work of satirical fiction. Any resemblance to real places or situations is purely coincidental and exaggerated for comedic effect. Exactly. Ding ding ding. Exactly. I'm going to write that down. I'm going to memorize that. Thank you.
That'll be $199 and up. You can see the description for all triggers and full details. Without further ado, can you hide that for a moment? Without further ado, I am joined today by Rachel Wilson. She is the wife of Andrew Wilson.
No way. You're fucking lying. This isn't real. This isn't real. I don't believe Rachel Wilson is far too much of a prude to have an OnlyFans. But did you guys hear about Kristi Noem's husband? Like, as an aside, I know I'm procrastinating watching this stupid fucking video. Did you guys hear about Kristi Noem's husband? 1 in the chat if you heard about Kristi Noem's husband. 2 in the chat if you did not hear about Kristi Noem's husband. We have to, I forgot about this. It's my bad. I need to share this. Okay, I need to share this. Yeah. We're not going to spend a lot of time on this. Kristi Noem's husband, we got to scroll down my feed a little bit. Not that one. Not Carrie being a psycho. This one. Kristi Noem's husband apparently had some sort of relationship with this tranny sex worker. And there's a recording of him drunkenly asking the tranny sex worker to marry him and saying he loves her more than his wife. Like, I mean, You guys want to hear the recording? You guys want to hear the recording real quick? Let's listen to the recording.
I believe you told me you loved me, didn't you?
I do love you.
Do
Yes.
you?
Mm-hmm.
So much better than your wife, aren't I?
You're so much better. Would you ever marry me?
Oh, you want to be married to your God.
I mean, who would be?
I mean, exactly. So how many drinks are we on?
A lot.
A lot.
Shut up. You're so amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you make me drink.
Oh, I don't make you do anything.
Yeah, you do.
Oh, do I?
You're the boss.
I am the boss.
So you tell me what to do and I'll do it.
That's a dangerous saying.
It's okay.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Did you think that I wouldn't find out who you are?
I knew you knew.
Do you care that I know?
It doesn't matter.
Right, it doesn't.
Is it?
No.
I mean, it is what it is.
I mean, that's very fair.
I don't love the fact that you know who I am, but it is what it is.
It is what it is. It is what it is, indeed. It is what it is, indeed. So that happened, and that was really funny, and I don't feel bad for Kristi Noem, man. I just know. You know what? You fucking shoot a dog, you get what you get, Kristi. You shot a fucking puppy, okay? Whatever.
Mother of 5 children, as well as author of the best-selling book, Occult Feminism. Also joining us today is Driana Sixto. She's a political analyst and commentator, as well as Spanish media director for the Lincoln Media Foundation. She received bachelor's degrees in political science and international relations from Florida International University. You each get a 5-minute opening, about 5 minute, 5, 6, 7 minute opening statement each, and then we're going to head straight into opening conversation.
Old Sub! What's up, bro? 10 channel memberships, W's to Old Sub in the chat. I love it when I'm not even asking you guys to give channel memberships and you still sprinkle them out. Guys, just as a reminder, we have a bunch of spy streams going on next week. So if you just got gifted a channel membership or you get gifted a channel membership at any point in the stream, you will be invited to spy streams next week where we're going inside live leftist organizing calls and watching them live. And there are a bunch of them, and there are about to be some really interesting spy streams, and we're going to do Mayday spy streams and all that stuff. So please take advantage of the channel memberships if you've gotten one from people who've been gifting them out, because they're awesome, and you get to see cool stuff no one else gets to see, and that's cool.
And Rachel, you're going first with your opening statement. Go ahead.
All right. Well, thanks, Brian, for hosting this. Thanks, Driana, for coming. This is a debate I've wanted to have for a long time. It's very easy to debate like very woke leftist feminists and make them look kind of crazy. But I think that it's important that we have this discussion between women on the right as well, because I think we have a very serious problem in the media, especially with women who say they're right-wing, conservative, whatever kind of like term you want to use to say they're on that side of things. I think that just because you're not woke doesn't mean that you're conservative, and it doesn't mean that you're not feminist. So in Driana's first appearance, she said that she came to the podcast to help men and women and like heal the divide and find a way to have good relationships again. She said she wants both parties to recognize what the other party brings to the table. So we'll talk about the table for sure. But I think her view and understanding of what feminism is, like most people, is based on propaganda, fallacious views of history through presentism, and just ignorance, which I don't blame her for. I'm not like calling her an ignorant person. She's a smart person. But most of us just haven't gotten the real story. We've heard a lot of things that we repeat and we don't really know why, and they're not exactly accurate. So I want to address some of that. I think that once I demonstrate that Driana actually holds a lot of more classical liberal egalitarian and therefore feminist views, what I predict is going to happen is she's probably going to want to obfuscate, do some stonewalling, and maybe even personal insults. Hopefully we don't have to go there. But I'm just going to keep redirecting it back to the topic and back to what we're here to discuss, which is feminism, especially among women on the right.
And do you know what the easiest way to debate Rachel Wilson on this point would be? Do you know what the easiest way to debate Rachel Wilson on this point would be if I was that other blonde girl? Rachel, I disagree with your framing of what feminism is for reason X, Y, B, and Z. I do not accept the premise of your book. I do not care if you like the premise of your book. I do not accept the premise of your book. Therefore, I do not accept your definition for what feminism is. Here is what I think it is for reasons X, Y, B, and Z based on X, Y, B, and Z. Guys, just because someone writes a book in something does not mean that that book is the end-all be-all of that thing. Anytime someone writes a book, and I've written far more books than Rachel Wilson, so I can say this with some degree of expertise, there are things that you choose to include in the book. There are things you choose to exclude from the book. You have to have a specific narrative that you're going with your book. Even if you are writing a nonfiction book, you still have to have some sort of position that you're saying, this is what I believe happened. And here is the supporting evidence and the supporting information for that thing. Inherently in that, you will choose to include some information that supports your premise. In most cases, you will exclude information that you do not believe supports the premise that you are trying to make. And it's not necessarily an intellectually dishonest thing. At some point, you have to put a stake in the ground and say, this is what I think is true. And you have to support that with facts. And inherent to that, you will exclude information from your analysis. I'm not saying anyone's being intellectually dishonest. I am saying that Rachel Wilson has a perspective that she has advanced in her book. Just because she has written a book about that perspective does not mean that is the end-all be-all truth. It means this is the information that Rachel Wilson has included in her analysis, and this is the conclusion she came to. It would be very, very easy for anyone debating Rachel Wilson to just read her fucking book, find out what she believes, and say, Rachel, I understand your definition of feminism is X, Y, B, and Z for X, Y, B, and Z reason. Actually learn what she believes. And then you go and say, I disagree with your framing of feminism. I believe it is X, Y, B, and Z for X, Y, B, and Z reason, and provide the same fucking premise for what you're saying. You do not have to accept Rachel Wilson's framing of the issue. And all this person has to do to defeat Rachel's argument that she's really a feminist is to say, I don't accept your framing. Sorry, I'm under no obligation. Here's the framing I use.
Drew calls them femcons, like feminist conservatives, but they're also kind of running a con, right? So Driana sees marriage more as a interpersonal legal contract, whereas my view of marriage is a lifelong sacramental religious commitment.
I thought Rachel Wilson had been married 3 fucking times. I've only been married once, by the way. Once. One marriage. One sacramental commitment. Not 3.
So we're going to have some, trying to find some common ground to talk about marriage from those very different worldviews. But the problem with this is
that would be
seeing she made this assertion that she's a capitalist and that she's coming at this from a conservative capitalist view. But right out of the gate in your last appearance,
I would bet all the money in my bank account that Rachel Wilson has no fuck off idea what the left means when they say capitalism.
Saw that that's not the case because you said that you want things like prenuptial agreements, no-fault divorce, and the origins of no-fault divorce are Marxist in and of themselves. The first mention of such a thing was Frederick Engels, lifelong collaborator with Karl Marx, a revolutionary socialist. And then after he started to talk about marriage as this...
Engels was talking about abolishing the nuclear family because the nuclear family is the social reproduction mechanism of capitalism, and you cannot abolish capitalism without abolishing the nuclear family. Rachel Wilson doesn't understand any of this, by the way. Has nothing to fuck off do with divorce, has to do with the destruction of the nuclear family, because that was Engels' thing. Engels was one of the primary people advancing that fucking idea.
State contract, this no-fault divorce idea of what marriage could be, that was picked up by other...
That has to do with propertied relationship, Rachel.
Other people who then ran with it. The other problem that we have is this idea that women's unpaid domestic labor is capitalist, which was another assertion that you had that I would take issue with. That's another thing that is uniquely socialist and Marxist in its origins and in its nature.
Why?
There were women like Marioso de la Costa and Selma James, whose work was adopted by socialist labor unions. They were the ones that came up with this idea.
Okay, so again, Rachel, I'm about to do you a giant solid, Rachel. You need to look up social reproduction theory because you do not understand the basis of any of this. It is social reproduction theory. The reason that domestic labor is capitalist is social reproduction theory. It is to feed the capitalist system with new fucking capitalist workers to reproduce capitalist values. That is what it is, Rachel. Told you she wouldn't know what she was talking about. Andrew doesn't know what he's talking about either. Average person, Trendlin, thanks for the recording, but you screw you to hell with love. Yeah, that's how I feel. That's actually how I feel. That's how I feel. She would never. Andrew has already run scared from me. I told Andrew I would debate him on any topic related to the left. He said all my ideas were stupid, and then he ran like a little fucking bitch with his tail between his legs, because Andrew Wilson knows I would kick his ass up and down in a debate on a far left topic, not on anything he wants to debate on, specific to my area of expertise. I would kick his ass so fucking easily, it's not even funny, and I would kick her ass too. I already have in the first 5 minutes of this so-called debate. But honestly, I just don't really care. I consider debating to be like a big waste of my time. So I don't really do it. Like, people ask me to do it sometimes and I'm like, eh. But if I did choose to do it, I would win, obviously.
Of women's unpaid domestic labor in the home, and labor unions who wanted socialism ran with that because they thought it was a really good way to get women out of the home and into the workforce, where then the workers of the world could unite and we could get enough numbers on the socialist side.
Are you fucking serious? Are you serious? Guys, Rachel Wilson believes that socialists wanted women to leave the home and join the workforce. One in the chat, if socialists want anyone to join the workforce. 2 in the chat if socialists do not want people to join the workforce. So now we know that Rachel Wilson's conception of what makes something feminist is already completely fucked, because the basis of her argument is completely fucked. Rachel, socialists and communists believe that they can organize everyone regardless of if they're in the workforce or not. It doesn't fucking matter.
To have a socialist revolution. So that is definitely not a capitalist position. That's a Marxist socialist position. And then you had this assertion to Andrew that people with prenuptial agreements get less divorce. And he argued that, okay, that could be correlated, but you can't prove that that's the cause or the reason. And I did a deep dive on that data, and he was absolutely correct. Instinctually, he didn't have data at the top of his head, but he knew that that was instinctually not causal. And when I dug into it, I in fact found that there are small like surveys they've done where it seems that people who have prenuptial agreements maybe have less divorce, but that's a selection bias issue, that people who have prenuptial agreements have higher incomes, they have more education. So There's nothing causal there saying a prenup is going to put you at less risk. It's more of a correlation. So I think there's just like a whole bunch of misunderstandings about this, and I'm super glad that we get to sit down and talk about this. The great Rush Limbaugh used to talk about the info babes at Fox News, the right-wing conservative media women, and say, hey, this is a problem because they're actually not conservative. They usually have a separate agenda for women. They usually have more of a classical liberal egalitarian view. And to me, that is feminist. I mean, feminism came out of the Great Enlightenment and the idea of egalitarianism, of trying to make everybody equal. So
Okay. I am never going to be one of those people that just rips people apart that I don't like. On this point, I think Rachel Wilson is correct. I think that it's not even just the women, by the way. I think that most people who claim to be conservative are really classical liberals. I think every Zionist that claims to be conservative, you can look at how they actually behave and what they actually believe. They're not on the right. They're on the fucking left. They're classical liberals. You can look at James Lindsay. You can look at Babylon Bee assholes. You can look at basically all the people who are, still hanging on to all of this anti-woke stuff. You can look at all these people. They are not conservatives. They've never been conservatives. They are classical fucking liberals. Okay? And so on this point, I do actually agree with Rachel. I just don't think it's the women. I think it's also the men too. We give credit where credit is due, even if she's dumb.
Social equality, social justice. So I'm happy to get into this and sort that out because I don't think it's a conversation we have enough.
And does that conclude your opening statement? Okay,
Yes, sir.
Go ahead with your opening statement, please.
Absolutely. Hi, guys. Happy to be here again. So for clarification, no, not a feminist in any way. For the first time in my life, I actually was called a feminist just a few weeks back when I was on the show by Rachel's husband. I'm pro-capitalism, pro-life. I'm pro-marriage, pro-children. I'm pro-Second Amendment, pro-small government. I am pro-U.S. Constitution, pro-homeschooling, and I believe taxation is theft. What I lovingly call repeal the 19th Rachel, and I disagree on, is that women have a right to vote and have equal rights under the law as men do. That's it. I am not here to argue in favor of feminism, and I really don't care about its history. My argument is that the root cause, like you mentioned, of most of our societal problems is the current disconnect between men and women, which has been encouraged by years by different entities, government entities, to divide and conquer us, put us at odds with one another. Not that women can finally vote. That's not what's causing it. And to help create a strong society with strong families, we need to bridge this gap, yes, between men and women and get both sides to understand the other's inherent value. I also live in reality.
I also actually do agree with that. I think it is stupid to say that like men should exist over here and women should exist over here. No, it doesn't work like that. I also don't, by the way, think that I'm not a conservative. I'm not a traditionalist at all. I don't believe in like traditional gender roles. I think that some people naturally have more masculine energy. They have more fire. They have more like leadership ability. I think some people have more feminine energy. And quite frankly, you can be a man with feminine energy, as most Pisces are. You could be a woman with Aries energy that is more masculine. Okay. There are just like some women have, I'm not talking about features. I'm not talking about being trans. I'm not talking about believing you were born in the wrong body or anything like that. I'm saying some people are more naturally fiery. Some people are more naturally receptive. Fiery tends to be a more what we associate with masculine energy. More receptive is more feminine energy. And you can be a man with receptive energy and you can be a woman with fiery energy. And the point is not, what is every man supposed to be like or every woman is supposed to be like? The point is about finding balance. It's about finding people that balance. When you are not in balance, you're just fighting all the fucking time. But if you can find a balance of like, I'm strong where you're weak. I do this where you do that. I am your yang, you are my yang sort of thing. That is actually what we should be going for. Is about finding balance. And sometimes even fiery bitches like me sometimes fiery bitches like me need to learn how to be receptive and, dare I say, submissive. And sometimes more receptive, passive men need to learn how to be fiery and to tell someone what to fucking do. Okay? They need to learn how to be more dominant. And you can go back and forth between these things. But the more you are around people that you're more of a balance for, the happier your life is going to be.
In a never before seen scenario in history, right? Unaffordability is the highest it's ever been. The gap between wages and home prices is the largest it's ever
Instantly, all the Pisces in the chat are offended.
been. I believe that's by design, to keep us, pissed off in a rat race, unable to reflect on really, who's behind all of this so that we can unite as a society and fight back against it. At the same time, women and men, well, women specifically, have relatively recently achieved true legal and financial equality in history. In fact, Gen X, like Rachel here, because I think it was 1980, which is the cutoff, is the first generation of women to live under true equality in the US, which was achieved with the Equal Credit Opportunity Act of 1974. Before that, women couldn't have credit nor get loans without a male cosigner, and that's only 52 years ago. So for the first time in modern history, women are not financially dependent on men to live. And I argue that we should extract the positive things out of this crazy situation that we're in.
You're offended?
And that's since men and women don't financially need each other anymore. They can choose to come together for reasons other than financial reasons, like the character of the person and, I don't know, love. Good, loyal, smart, capable, intelligent, emotionally intelligent men see it as their time to shine, right? Because it's not about the money anymore. It's about being kind, equally competent as an adult, equally responsible for adult responsibilities, especially if you want to have a family. And this is what most women want now, for those of you guys that are hearing this. For the first time, we all know that the economy is absolute shite right now, okay? And that raising a family on a single income is a luxury that most Americans can't afford. So instead of listening to women-hating manosphere podcasts that call you men specifically losers unless you're making $1 million a year, and that say women are materialistic or promiscuous and therefore they're responsible for the loneliness epidemic, I suggest listening to people that don't make a living off of dividing the sexes, right? And making the problem worse, which I think is evil. And if we're trying to promote strong traditional family units, well,
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this. Obviously, I'm not on Rachel Wilson's side. This dumb blonde is already making me hate her. I already hate her. I hate her significantly more than I hate Rachel Wilson, by the way. I hate this fucking dumb blonde. And I kind of think that she might be doing more to divide the sexes just by being really fucking annoying than Rachel Wilson is. Yeah, we're already at hate. I do not like her. I do not like her at all. Oh, she gets worse? Oh, good. Oh, good. I was hoping that was the case, Trendlin. Thank you. Thank you for this joy.
Which I am, despite the economy. Men need to become the kind of leaders that women can look up to, can trust, and can depend on. And it's in a woman's nature to look for these things in men for partnership, which means men cutting vices that keep you weak, addicted, and with a warped sense of reality when it comes to women, like pornography, which a majority of men consume, and I argue is the single largest contributor to the decay in relationships between the sexes. And I think afterwards, women will naturally want to look forward to relationships with men more. Because why would a woman marry a man that watches porn and thinks it's okay to do that while in a relationship, which in my book is emotional cheating? Or why would she marry a man that wants her to work and split bills, which I understand is the reality of most Americans, but then isn't equally competent or responsible partner when it comes to household duties or raising children? It just sounds like...
I don't understand people who have an issue with splitting bills. I don't get that at all. It's like, you're fucking married. Your money is my money. My money is your money. Like you're maybe, okay, listen, maybe I've just been really lucky in my marriage in that my husband and I have never had separate bank accounts. Like, he makes what he makes. There have been times when I've made way more money than him. There's been some times when he's made more money than me. It doesn't fucking matter. It's all going into the same pot. It's like, we are married. Your money is my money. It's I don't understand, like, these people are like, of course you're gonna split bills. And then you're gonna like split household fucking chores too. That's called living together. God. Reject voting for the majority of the population, return to Scottish clan structure. I'm mostly kidding. I mean, listen, man, I would be open to restricting voting to like property owners. I really would. I'm not joking about that. I would be, or making the vote of property owners count more than the non-property owners. Like we get 2 votes, you get 1 sort of thing. Everyone gets a vote, but some votes are, you know, more valuable than other votes. I would be open to that system. I'd be open to a monarchy at this point. Honestly, whatever. Don't care anymore. Everything's going to hell anyway.
An irrational deal.
Thank you for the super
Or worse,
chat.
why would a woman want to give children to men who think being a stay-at-home mom has no inherent value? It's just what women are supposed to do when raising kids right is the pillar of a strong society, and the market value of what a stay-at-home mom does is extremely high. Or worse, nowadays there's men that say women that do want to be stay-at-home wives means that they're gold diggers, when nobody ever called grandma or great-grandma a gold digger for being a homemaker her entire life, right? So the solution to our modern problems is in telling women that they shouldn't be allowed to vote or have financial independence, which is just a stupid, sexist, losing message for the right. But to make sure that men and women value the opposite sex and what they contribute to society. And the onus is on men to hold themselves accountable and become men worthy of leading a family, because women can't and shouldn't trust men or follow men that let vices or urges control them. And without strong men, women have had to step into their masculine energy and fill that void. And that's the problem we face, not that women have rights, right? And if you disagree with basic human rights for women, then I suggest never to be a hypocrite and take a one-way trip to Iran where women don't have rights and can't vote, right?
God.
Just like I'd recommend communists here in the US to take a one-way flight to Cuba if they don't like it here so much.
Actually, there are a bunch of communists who just went to Cuba. Do you guys know this? There are a bunch of communists who just went to Cuba, and apparently they had a really good time in Cuba and they liked it a lot, and it did not convince them to not be communists. So congratulations, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about, dumb blonde.
That's my closing statement. Well, opening statement.
Okay. Would either of you like to respond to anything you've heard there? Or?
Well, I think let's start with, what do you think feminism is? And then I'll tell you what I think feminism is.
So I don't really care because so many people have different definitions. I only care about 2 things, which is women voting and women having financial independence. That's it. I'm not here to argue for feminism in any other way. Just a woman's right to vote and a woman's equal financial rights and opportunities as men. So egalitarian rights.
Okay.
That's it.
So almost everything that you stated as your values and the things you care about here and in your opening are actually classical liberal positions. They are not conservative positions. Are you aware of that?
Explain. Which ones?
So saying egalitarianism, that was part of the French Revolution, the ethos, liberty, equality, fraternity. That's a revolutionary classical liberal idea. It's not a right-wing conservative idea.
I don't care about, so this might be a short, debate. Who
Well,
knows?
you said you were a conservative.
Yes.
So
Again, the only argument I'm making is that all citizens have inherent values. Doesn't matter the sex, doesn't matter the gender, doesn't matter the nationality, ethnicity, or anything. I want you to make me an argument why you think that that shouldn't be the case, why women should be held,
so you said
not have the same
if
rights.
you don't like America, you can leave, right?
Yeah.
If you don't think America's the best, you can leave. We care about American foundational values, right?
Western values.
Okay, well, you said America, but let's just say Western. Okay, are you aware that this country was not founded on the idea of universal suffrage? That's a new progressive idea.
I know that it was not originally working that way, but the US Constitution and the idea of the United States absolutely saw us all as equals. And then throughout the years, we had to super specifically define it because, you know, it wasn't put that blatant from the beginning of time. But it's there in the Constitution that we all have inherent rights from God as equal human beings.
That's funny because it took until the progressive era to pass the 19th Amendment, which was a progressive piece of legislation. It was not conservative. So all I'm trying to do is say, please don't use the label conservative if you're actually a classical liberal. So let's just get that straight. All of your positions are classical liberal positions. And you're doing what a lot of MAGA babes do. They're like, I like Trump.
The MAGA babes. Hey, Tayton, thanks for the super chat. I have a good idea. We sell Carlin purses and buy an island for all of us. I mean, come on, who doesn't want to see Victor? Victor's never going to wear a fucking Speedo. No, don't wish my husband. My husband is a burly fucking Ukrainian and he's very handsome and I love him and I think he looks good in everything. I don't think my husband's going to wear a Speedo. I think Victor doesn't even like going swimming, okay? I don't think you're going to see him in his fucking Speedo, but thank you, Tate, and I appreciate it.
And I want to deport illegals and I'm not super woke, therefore I'm conservative. That's why I don't use the label conservative because it means nothing anymore because people like you are actually libertarians. You're classical liberals. You lean more progressive than not. And you call yourself conservative and then say, I'm the radical weirdo who's like this crazy person.
Yeah, well, there's limited amounts of titles on what to call people's individual political beliefs. There's usually just conservative, libertarian, Republican, Democrat.
Don't you have a
and
degree,
everybody
though,
has
in political science?
And yeah. And
so why are you not aware that you're a classical liberal?
No, because that wouldn't specifically.
Yes, Victor. Victor is very well aware that I've talked about the fact that he has a big dick on the internet. Yes, yep, he is aware. And I gotta say, I don't really think he minds. I don't think he minds that the internet knows about the situation. I don't think he minds at all. He doesn't tell me to stop. He kind of has a little smile about it whenever I say I've done it. So I think it's okay. I think Victor's okay with the situation. Yeah, what a fucking legend. Yeah, he is. Yep.
Define my ideas. My personal ideas are way too broad. You can't just
put what are
too
some
much
conservative positions that you have?
Conservative positions, I believe taxation is theft. We should
That's
have
a libertarian idea.
That's a libertarian idea.
Yeah, which our founding fathers were very much for.
The first thing George Washington did was institute the tax, and we fought a whiskey rebellion over it. So no, the founders were not against taxation. Maybe the income tax
without representation,
but we had representation, and they said, now that we have representation, we're going to tax you. So it is not a conservative idea to be completely against taxation. That is a libertarian idea.
It's and I still believe it's true that it is still theft.
So let's find the conservative positions.
Because anything that is done through coercion, right, is theft. You don't pay taxes.
That's a libertarian. That's a dyed-in-the-wool libertarian position, which is cool. I'm not even saying there's anything wrong with that. But then you're a libertarian.
You can't put that title on me because it doesn't also qualify.
Tell me any position you have. Any position you have that's conservative.
So I believe in our Second Amendment rights, right?
That's also a classical liberal value.
Okay, so I'm a little bit of this and that, right?
No, you're just a classical liberal. I'm looking for one.
Is Rachel Wilson saying that being 2A is not conservative? Okay. Something can be both a conservative value and a classical liberal value at the same time. Everyone understands this, right? Something can be two things at once. I'm pretty sure being 2A would qualify as something that on this area, both classical liberals and conservatives can agree. It can be both. It doesn't have to be one or the other. It can be both.
conservative.
But you just called me a libertarian just
That's
2
classical
seconds ago.
liberal is libertarian. They're the same thing.
No,
So I'm a
oh,
mix of both.
Rachel,
Political science.
Rachel, that's the most retarded fucking thing that I've heard Rachel Wilson say yet. There is no fuck off universe in which classical liberal is the same thing as fucking libertarian. And I say that as someone who is around an awful lot of fucking libertarians in the libertarian homeland, the free state of New Hampshire. Rachel Wilson doesn't know what the fuck she's talking about if she thinks that libertarians are the same as classical fucking liberals. No. Rachel, no. Wrong. Bad.
Major, by the way. Don't go to college. It's a giant waste of money.
I actually agree with that.
Awesome.
I actually agree with that. You know, I went to school and I got my degrees, and thankfully I'm working in the field that I went to school for, but you can learn most everything about politics and international relations.
Well, I'm
by
still
staying in
waiting
the
to
loop
hear.
of
Let
things.
each other finish, please.
By staying in the loop of things. I actually do tell people don't go to college unless you're going to go get a STEM degree. In fact, I think I got myself most of my positions by skipping classes and actually being active in the community and experiencing reality rather than just reading political theories and books, which I had to do as well.
Still
you
just
still
want
can't-
one
you
conservative,
still
just
can't-
one, and then I'll move on from this point. Just one actually conservative position.
Conservative position.
Yes.
I'm very pro-family. I'm very pro-life. That is.
So you're against abortion?
Yes, I'm against abortion.
And if you're pro-family, how do you feel about gay marriage?
I think that basically the government should have never gotten involved in marriage in the first place.
But you said you live in reality and that right now the government's involved and it's a government contract, which is why women need prenups and all this stuff. You said we live in reality. So we live in reality right now where gay marriage is legal. Are you for that or against that?
If the gays want to come into a partnership together, then they should have legal protections.
So gay marriage, you're pro-gay marriage.
I'm not pro-gay marriage. I'm saying if two people want to live together and have to legally sign that they are in a civil union so that one can go to the hospital for the other and be admitted the same rights that married couples do, then they need to go do that. I'm in favor of that. But I don't.
Just so everyone understands, when you start to read queer Marxism, like Towards the Queerest Insurrection, you will understand that the far left never wanted gay marriage to be legalized. Gay marriage, whether you personally like it or you don't, gay marriage is the thing right now that is protecting the nuclear family. I know this might seem contradictory, but the real far left, the queer Marxists, marriage. The perspective of queers within the heteronormative world is a lens through which we can critique and attack the apparatus of capitalism. We can analyze the ways in which medicine, the prison system, the church, the state, marriage, the media, borders, the military and police are used to control and destroy us. That is one reference in this document. Now, they don't. The so-called LGBT political establishment has become a force of assimilation, gentrification, capital, and state power. Gay identity has become both a marketable commodity and a device of withdrawal from the struggle against domination. They don't critique marriage, military, and the state. They're saying those stupid fucking gays who are getting married, they need to understand that marriage is a propertied relationship that advances capitalist values. They're critiquing marriage. Again, third reference. If we genuinely want to make ruins of this totality, we need to make a break. We don't need inclusion into marriage. We don't give a shit about marriage or the military. This is a queer Marxist song. We're going to listen to it for 30 seconds. Maybe not even.
I don't want to get married. I don't want to be just like you.
Very first song, the very first line in the queer Marxist song. I don't want to get married. I don't want to be just like you. The real far left are anti-assimilationists. They are anti-marriage. Gay marriage is the wall that is standing right now between the far left and overthrowing the nuclear family, actually abolishing the nuclear family, because right now, the normie gays, the people who are literally just like, we just want to get married, we just want to be able to have that contract, we just want to be able to visit each other in the hospital, we just want to be able to be on each other's insurance, like the normie gays that really just want to be left the fuck alone. If you take that away from them, they are going to radicalize to the queer Marxist left so fucking quickly. It's going to balloon their numbers, and they will ultimately, I believe, be successful in abolishing the nuclear family if you take away that institution. They never wanted it to be legalized in the first place. They fought against it. You can go back and read their writings at the time, just like we just did very, very quickly, to see this is reality. And so I don't give a fuck if you personally like gay marriage or not. We need to protect gay fucking marriage at all costs. And the fact that conservatives don't understand this, the fact that conservatives don't understand that repealing gay marriage and getting rid of it will lead to the abolition of the nuclear family as they know it, means they don't understand the far left. They just do not understand the enemy they claim to be fighting. Anyway, I know it's an aside, but there you go.
I don't think that the government should have gotten into marriage in the first place. The reality is, however, that marriage does afford certain privileges that unmarried couples do have.
Right.
So that's why
would
it's the legal
you
advantage.
are you in favor then of gay marriage? Because it kind of dodged around. Do you just want civil unions that are different from then how I'm married or how you would get married?
I mean, most, I guess, gay couples, I think, just wanted the same legal rights and tax benefits of married couples, not the fact that they could get an address and a tuxedo and go in a church and get married, because then they would have to take it up with the church itself.
Right. See, and this is the problem with your libertarian position of turning marriage into a contract with the state, is that you have no grounds on which to say the gays can't get married. Because your reasons for men and women getting married are going to be the exact same reasons that you're going to say gay couples should get married.
It has always been, even before, churches existed and Christianity and all that. Marriages, civil unions have always had some kind of legal contract and observed within the communities that, like in Rome, for example, right? There were certain privileges and certain responsibilities that were given to.
Yeah, this is actually a really good point from Sarah with an H. Conservatives don't realize that the debauchery seen at pride events is actually a form of protesting homonormativity. That's actually a really good point, Sarah. I hadn't actually thought about it like that, but I do think you're right. Homonormativity, for people who don't know, homonormativity means gays who have essentially assimilated to the cultural norms of the straights. That means gay people who get married, they're in a monogamous relationship, they buy a house, they adopt some kids, they have a car, they have their capitalist job. That is called homonormativity. Homonormativity is a slur. It's not meant as a good thing. It means gays who assimilate to capitalist values, gays who assimilate to the values of the straights. In this case, straight doesn't mean heterosexual. It means walking the straight and narrow, homonormativity, the cultural norms that uphold capitalism. And so, yeah, the debauchery that you see at pride events is a protest of homonormativity, or just like normal gay people who just get married and keep to themselves and like whatever. Very, very true.
Civilly married unions.
Are you talking about pagan Rome or Christian Rome?
Before, yeah.
Pagan Rome?
Yep.
Okay.
And there's been again, the union of man and woman since the beginning of time, right?
Yes.
Even in the Bible.
But
man
it was
and
not.
woman became
Wait, hold on. Let her finish.
Yeah, man and woman became one before God, not before the church, right? I think that's how I personally see marriage myself. I think that if two people want to come together and call themselves, a couple officially before God, that's it. And then obviously you're going to want to get legally married because of the benefits that exist. But that's what I care about. And again, that's just my personal opinion. I still want to, again, get an argument from you as to why women should not be able to vote. Why, Rachel?
Well, first,
Or why don't-
I
why
just
don't
let
you
you
just-
talk, so
Yeah.
now I'm going to talk. So
Go
I'm going to
for it.
respond to everything you just said. First of all, you didn't give me a straight answer. You gave me a whole bunch of gobbledygook and wandering, meandering nonsense to say that basically, you know, at the beginning of this and in your last appearance, you were like, oh, I live in reality where the government is a part of the contract. That's actually not true. So the first people to make marriage not a sacrament of the church, governed by the ecclesiastical authority of the church, was Alexander Kollontai under Vladimir Lenin during the Bolshevik Revolution. In 1917, Russia was the first place in the world
That's abolished the
that we
family stuff
had
again.
a state contract governed by the state
She's right about
with
that.
no fault divorce. That is not a Christian institution. It's not even an ancient pagan institution, as you noted, but back in those days, even under pagans, it was more of a family contractual agreement where you're marrying for the purpose of two families kind of uniting, and a lot of things went into that. But no, this is brand new. This idea of marriage as just this personal contract you have with somebody that's governed by the state is only about 100 years old. And you basically just told me that you're pro-gay marriage. So I'll answer.
Don't put words in my mouth.
Then you have to answer either yes or no. Are you for gay marriage rights or not? You are for human rights. You're for rights. Are you for
under the law? Yes,
right. Are you for
absolutely.
gay marriage rights? Should gays be able to have the same legal marriage that men and women have?
Yes.
Oh, you guys have got to see this. Oh, you guys have got to see this. Oh, you guys have got to see this. Got to see this. Old sub! Thank you for the super chat, old sub. Is it safe to say that a libertarian is a person that doesn't really care about what other people do as long as it doesn't affect them? It's a little bit more complicated than that, old sub, but yeah, generally kind of like a whatever position, like don't mess with them. Basically, like libertarians believe in private property ownership, and basically everything else they think should not be regulated by the government at all. Like, you own your property, you can protect your property with as many guns or cannons or whatever the fuck you want to have on your property as possible, and really the government should like fuck off about like literally everything else. And there's a lot of philosophy around it and stuff like that, and you can get into a lot of theoretical debates about it. But yeah, like essentially don't take my stuff, like don't hurt me, don't take my stuff, and I don't give a fuck. Other than that, you can do whatever the fuck you want with your stuff on your property. But thank you for that. Hey guys, we gotta look at this though. We gotta look at this. Guys, this is actually fucking hilarious. This is actually hilarious. Some retard on Rumble has made an account called Exposing Me, Exposing Dr. K. Let's see what they said. Just found out your real last name is Morrison. My real last name is not Morrison, you fucking retard. LMAO, why did you adopt a Ukrainian stage name? Because my husband's last name is Borisenko. To distance yourself from your past life as a blue hair they them lib. Plenty more pics where this came from. They're talking about the time my hair was blue because I dyed it multicolor when Victor and I went on a cruise to have fun. So back when I was a Democrat, there was I had a month of hair where it was basically like multi. It was like a fucking rainbow. It looked really fucking cool. It was like every fucking color. And the reason I did that is Victor and I were going on a cruise and I was having fun. I can dye my hair whatever the fuck color I want. I'm an adult. I'm allowed to have whatever fucking hair I want. By the way, asshole, my maiden name is Morissette. Morissette. My family is French and Irish and British. Morissette. Like Alanis Morissette. Morissette. I am not afraid of people knowing my fucking maiden name. I don't give a flying fuck if you know my maiden name. And the reason that I changed my last name to Borisenko is that I married a Ukrainian immigrant named Viktor Borisenko. I'm exposed, guys. I'm exposed. It's fucking over. They found me. Yeah, we're like distant cousins, but like I don't know her or anything. Like, but we're just like distant. A lot of my family comes from Canada. So my basically my ancestors were like, we were like the founders of Quebec or whatever. And so a lot of my family comes from Canada, and they kind of migrated down here. And then this is on my grandmother's side. And then my grandmother met my grandfather, whose name was Morissette, and they got married, and then they had kids, and that is the lineage that I come from. But yes, I am of. And my grandfather too was like also from the same area of Canada. His family was the same. They were all in the same area. They were all French speakers and like all this stuff. My grandmother was always very upset with me for never learning French. I tried to learn French. I really fucking tried. It just didn't work. I could read French. For a while. Could never get myself to speak French properly. And that was always very disappointing for my grandmother. But now you guys know my my maiden name. I am exposed. It's all over. Oh no. Boop. Bye. Idiots. Fucking idiots. Fucking idiots.
Okay, that's not a conservative position. So
in your opinion,
I'll answer your why should women not vote question as soon as you give me one position, just one on anything where you're actually conservative at all.
I've just mentioned a few. I am, again.
Fun fact, Victor's father is also named Victor, which in the Russian language, the middle name you have is based on your father's name. And my husband's first language is Russian. My husband's first language is not Ukrainian. My husband's first language is Russian. He grew up in the Russian-speaking part of Ukraine. So my husband's father is also named Victor, which means that, I swear to God, my husband's name is Victor Viktorovich. Literally, my husband's first name is Victor, and my husband's middle name is also Victor. But it's Viktorovich. It's like son of Victor. Victor, son of Victor, sort of thing. Yeah, Victor does actually. He speaks Russian. He can speak Ukrainian, but he doesn't like it. But he can understand Ukrainian. Obviously, this is from he can do it. He just doesn't like it. And obviously, he speaks English.
Pro-life. I am pro-marriage. I am pro-small government.
So you would.
So
well,
I'm
small government is like
US
a fiscal.
Yes, fiscal conservative. I'm a constitutionalist.
Yeah,
right?
he's Orthodox.
So yeah, all of those things
Technically, he doesn't practice
constitute
or anything.
a lot of conservative values.
So
but it's very
you're pro-life.
Yes.
So you would be against abortion in pretty much all circumstances.
Yeah.
Okay, then I'll give you that one. That's the only one that I can come up with that makes you anything remotely conservative. So good job on that. But why do I think women shouldn't vote? Well,
this is a good question. I appreciate you asking it. Is heteronormativity the same as straightness, or do they differ in how they materialize? No, that's actually yes. This is one of those situations where the left has multiple words that generally mean the same thing. It's kind of like how so many different terms on the left are a reference to capitalism. They're just reference to a different aspect of capitalism. So yes, generally speaking, though there is some nuance, heteronormativity is the same as straightness. And that doesn't mean one man, one woman. It means an adherence to the straight and narrow. You're walking the straight and narrow. It means adhering to the norm. It means adhering to the cultural norms that uphold capitalism. And then homonormativity also means the same fucking thing, but it's applied in a different way. You understand? It's like homonormativity is saying basically what the left believes is that all gay people should be queer. But all gay people aren't queer. You are only queer if you are anti-normative, if you're going against cultural normativity. So the left believes that by all rights and privileges, all gay people should be queer. And when gay people reject that because they literally just want to get married and buy a house and get a job and all that stuff, when they adhere to normativity, they are assimilating to the norms of straightness. That's exactly right. Homonormativity is a specific slur because queer people think that all gays should be queer. And so when they reject that, they're like, oh, you're homonormative. It's like that. So that's a really good observation, bro. Good question.
Yeah. I'll tell you why I think women shouldn't vote. So you did a lot of hard work trying to get Trump reelected. You're very pro-Trump. and you want to help Republicans, right? And part of the reason you don't like this gender war is because you're like, look, this is a terrible position for the right. You're alienating all the female voters.
She's so
right?
naive.
Yes, that's partially correct. Yeah.
If women didn't vote anymore, we would never have another Democrat president. We would never have another Democrat Senate, and we would never have another Democrat Congress.
You're right. You're right, Rachel. You're
so that's
absolutely
one
right.
of the reasons that because of the values I hold, which are actually a lot more conservative, even though I don't like the term, I don't really care about Republicans versus Democrats. I think that the big tent Republicanism is just liberalism at a slower speed, like what you believe in. I don't believe in that. I'm a patriarchist. I'm an Orthodox Christian. I would be a monarchist if I could. But if we care about the things we say we care about, like small government, letting women vote ensures you will never have that again. The reason the 19th Amendment was passed.
There is no reality in which the 19th Amendment is ever going to be repealed. Can we, on this point, I agree with the dumb blonde. There is no reality, zero reality in which the 19th Amendment is ever going to be repealed. And so at some point, we do actually have to hinge into reality. You can talk about the 19th Amendment being repealed. You can wish upon a fucking star. You can try to organize some campaign that is never going to be successful because it will literally never happen. We will never amend the Constitution again in this country. It is not fucking possible the way things are now to follow that process and actually be successful. Like, you can find a fucking magic genie bottle and rub it and say, my first wish is that I want to abolish the 19th Amendment. You can do like whatever the fuck you want. You are never going to repeal the 19th Amendment. So can we just stop wasting time talking about this? It's a stupid fucking traditionalist fantasy that is never going to happen.
Was because the progressive era liberals wanted to pass the
You
income
can get
tax.
the monkey paw. Yeah,
They
you
wanted
get
to
the
pass
fucking
the
monkey
Federal
paw.
Reserve Act. They wanted a nanny state with welfare, and they wanted pro-immigration open borders. And they knew that if you only let men vote, you're never going to get that agenda passed. The whole progressive agenda would have never been passed without women voting.
Okay.
And that's why I think that we should have some kind of restriction, as we had at the founding, where it's not just one person, one vote. There's a lot of ways you could do that. I'm not saying you have to just say no females voting, although I think that's a great idea, for a lot of reasons that we can get into. But you could do things like net positive taxpayers. You could do anything where you have to have skin in the game. But
I agree with the
if what you care about is keeping this conservative agenda that you say you want for us and the social and fiscal conservatism, the fastest way to ensure that you never get that passed is letting women vote.
Yes, Rachel, that is factually correct because most women vote left wing, right? Even though most white women do vote Republican after the 1980s for president. But you're making the argument that because people disagree with my personal political beliefs, that I should take away their right to vote. I'd like to, and I disagree with that. I think that the way to get people to vote how I want them to is by arguing that my ideas are better than somebody else's, not taking away somebody else's right to vote. Because then you'd have to make the argument, Rachel, that we should take away Black people's rights to vote, or that would be a good thing.
Why?
Because
Why would we have
let
to
me
say that?
finish. Because Black people vote 80 to 90% Democrat in every presidential election, which is a racist, obviously, position to have. You don't tell people, and your ultimate solution isn't to stop people from voting because you don't get what you want. It's making arguments to convince said people that your ideas are better.
Well, I don't give a crap about democracy. I don't like the.
I'm glad we clarified
Yeah,
that.
I don't. I'm not a democracy enjoyer.
Okay.
I know that
Go to Iran.
I know you think that's
Cuba.
no.
Why don't you go to
Americanism,
Iran?
the American ethos.
So many places.
America was not founded as a democracy. And if you went to school for this, I would expect that you would know more about this. It was not a universal suffrage democracy. It was a very extremely limited suffrage representative republic. That's not what we have now. So I am, if you want to call me the traditionalist, it's a representative republic.
It's a constitutional republic because the Constitution guarantees that individual rights aren't aren't trampled upon, right? And that we still have certain things that we do vote on, policy differences, but the Constitution gives everybody certain inalienable rights.
Yes,
and so
that's-
that is what
that
the
is-
country
okay,
was
so
founded
yeah,
upon.
This is what I have a problem with, though.
Hey, Cynthia, thanks for the super chat. I really appreciate it. You definitely need a gong or a truck. Fucking hell. I totally forgot about the fucking gong. I totally forgot. Okay, Cynthia, I'm going to make a very special trip to Hobby Lobby. I'm going to try. Actually, I can't go tomorrow. Tomorrow, we're probably going to be doing protest coverage. Oh, by the way, guys, tomorrow is National Fuck Ice Day. And so the left is going to be doing anti-ICE protesting and bullshit all day. As long as there are streamers out streaming what's going on, I will be doing protest coverage tomorrow. I'm planning on starting early. I hope the streamers are out. So I can't go to Hobby Lobby tomorrow. It's closed on Sunday. It's my birthday anyway. I'm going to figure out this gong thing, Cynthia. I promise you. Maybe I'll find a good, you know what I should do? I bet I can find a good craft fair or something where people have a really nice fancy gong, or I can go into some new age store and I bet they're going to have some sort of like noise therapy thing. They'll just have like a really nice sound. It'll be like, bong. Actually, give me one moment, please. I will be right back. I actually might have something. Give me one moment. I'll be right back. I'm going to show you guys what I have. I'm going to let this play.
You have a problem with it?
Yes, I do.
Anything.
I do have a problem with it.
Hang on, before I go get the noisemaker that I have. Hans. W's to Hans. 20 Chino memberships, bro. Are you fucking serious? W's, bro. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. I really do appreciate that. You rock. Welcome to all new channel members. Welcome to the cult. You're never leaving now. It's over. Your rest of your life you're going to spend here, but you'll have friends during the commie revolution and all that. Yeah, Hans swinging the eggplant, just to be. Oh my god, Hans. Oh my gosh, Hans, are you going to be celebrating my birthday weekend this week? It's going to be awesome. Yeah, I might have something. Hang on, I got to go find it in my bedroom. I think I know where it is. I'm going to let this play and I'm going to go get my secret noisemaker. And this might actually be the solution that we need. Okay, hang on. I'm going to let this play. Let me know if I miss anything.
Why? And I know you think that's some big dunk, like, oh, she's I can't believe she said that out loud, but I'm going to explain why, and everyone's going to agree with me. The fundamental flaw in our government is this idea that, oh, we can just keep changing it. So what it was founded as is not what it has become. We have become this ultra progressive society, and that was built in. It's a fatal flaw. I'm not a constitutionalist. I don't believe in democracy, because democracy means everybody gets a say. I don't want everybody to have a say. I don't want people who have more to gain from voting to take money out of my pocket to have the same say as people who are net positive taxpayers.
I agree with you
I
on
don't
that.
want people who are contributing to the system. This is what it is, though. You have Somalian daycare scammers who are getting millions of dollars for free because of scams, but the rest of us have to go to work, and if we don't pay our taxes, the IRS is down our throats. They're about to put us in jail.
I agree.
You have welfare queens. You have people taking more from the system than they're getting. This is a terrible idea, and the inherent flaw is this idea that just because you live here, you should have a say in how the government is run.
Flaws, right? Let's work on those flaws instead of the blanket statement.
It's a fatal flaw. It's built in. It's
keep everybody that I don't like from voting.
Okay, but you didn't let me finish. It's not a bug. It's a feature. You can't take it out. Your classical liberal foundation of everybody has rights. You don't care about duties. You care about rights. You're going to say everyone should have rights. Okay, let's get into that then. Well, first,
Okay, hang on. We'll get back to you in a second, Rachel. Okay, hang on. You guys ready? This might actually be too loud. I don't know exactly how this is going to go. Are you guys ready? This is a meditation thing that I got back in the day when I was doing all that meditation stuff. Wait. You can barely even hear that? Do I need to be closer? Okay, hang on. Whoa! You guys can't hear it? Disappointing? Okay. You know what? Listen, it was just an idea, okay? It's much louder to me It's much louder to me on my end than apparently it is for you guys. Okay, we need a gong. Okay. But isn't that nice? Isn't it a nice ring? That got you? Okay. I will work very hard on finding a gong. All right. I'll work very hard on finding a fucking gong. Professional streamer on the internet. Don't you fucking forget it either. It's too peaceful. People are like, Carlin, we're calling people a retard here when you make the chime. So maybe we don't have the peaceful little ringing that's supposed to be meditative.
First of all, I want to go back to your assertion that we'd have to say black people can't vote. That's atrocious and ridiculous. And I didn't say that, and I wouldn't say that. However, if black women didn't vote,
okay,
that would help. If white women didn't, if all women didn't.
Ginny on Rumble, thank you for the $5 Rumble rant. Really appreciate that, Ginny.
Vote.
Wait, hang on. Why not? See, what a W idea. I should get a triangle and I should paint the triangle pink and black. What a fucking W idea, average person. Okay, we're going to work on this. We're going to find the perfect, maybe we'll get both a gong and a triangle.
Would not be battling trans
gonna
kids.
be quite the clip.
We wouldn't be battling. Yeah, it's going to be quite the clip. Women voting is the larger issue because this is why they wanted to give women the vote, because women are easily swayed. They're easily propagandized. They tend to vote on emotion. Don't interrupt me. I'm not quite done.
Let her finish. Hold on, let her finish.
Reclaiming my time.
Go ahead.
Women vote. They've done a lot of, I have a whole book on this at home that I'm reading, where they've done all this research on women and how and why they vote.
Oh no.
And they will vote things like the Nixon-Kennedy election. Women voted for Kennedy not because they knew anything about policy or because he had better ideas. You're still stuck in this paradigm that we're in a war of ideas. Most women don't think that way. They're not going and researching the issues. They go, he's tan and handsome. I like him. He's bald and he's shiny on TV and I don't like him. I don't like his tone. And so they don't vote for him.
I think let me know when
this is like not my opinion. This is what they say in exit polling. This is what all of these political PACs who are desperately trying to get women's votes find when they do the research. Women vote for security. They vote for a nanny state. And they vote for progressive policies because those sound nicer. That's why in every political cycle, you see all these commercials coming from the Democrats going, Republicans want to take away school lunch and they want to kill your grandma and they don't want her to have her Medicare anymore, because women see that and they're like, I have to protect the innocent babies. They're so helpless. Women shouldn't be in politics because it weaponizes our maternal instinct against our own interests. So that's why you see women trying to fight ICE agents in the streets.
We got a Rumble rant for $1 over on Rumble. Let's see what he says. Hear me out. All of our problems would be solved if everyone was forced into gay sex like Israel after college everyone forced into gay sex like Israel after college is forced to go into the military. You know what? I guess it's an idea worth considering. D-Day Man on Rumble. Thank you for the buck. I appreciate it.
Even if the illegal guy has, CP and,
liberal women are doing that.
Yeah. Well, I've argued with conservative women
that
about this as well.
ICE
Yes, they see ICE dragging people out. They see families getting separated, or they see kids behind a fence or whatever. And they're like, we can't do it this way, guys. We can't. So even people like Trump will back off on what they want to do because the women freak out and they're like, we can't do this. It's too mean.
Okay, are we done here? On your rant?
Oh, like you didn't rant and prattle and meander with your stuff.
It sounds like you have a lot of disdain for women in general.
Absolutely not. I think women are
why does Rachel Wilson have so little faith in men? I'm going to say that again. Why the fuck does Rachel Wilson have so little faith in men? Just because a woman is saying something does not mean a man needs to give into that thing. Just because a woman is saying, oh my God, my feelings, and blah, 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 blah. That does not mean the man needs to do whatever the fuck she wants him to do. Now, sometimes, and let's just be honest about this, sometimes it is the path of least resistance. Sometimes when a woman is having a fucking moment and really it doesn't actually really matter, it's not over the most important thing in the world, sometimes it is just easier to give in and say, I don't give a fuck, honey, do whatever the fuck you want. Sometimes that's easier, that's fine. However, I have a little bit more faith in men, or perhaps I should say, I have more aspirations for men, where if women are coming to them saying, I don't like this because of feelings, the man, if he is acting like a man, should be able to say, no, no, woman, no. And if we don't trust men to be able to do that, then I'm sorry, it is the men who are abdicating their responsibility. I'm so sick of hearing all these people. Like, I will agree that most women are fucking annoying. I will agree that I don't want to be around most women. I will agree that most of them make their decisions. I will agree with all of that stuff and have no fucking issue with it. However, at some point, men and people like Rachel Wilson need to stop making fucking excuses, and they need to start saying no. And if they're unwilling to do that, then I don't want to fucking hear them complain. It is whiny and feminine to complain about, I'm a victim of the world for blah, 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 blah. Thank you, Cynthia. The gong shop has gongs 52 inches and larger. Shit, Cynthia, you're gonna make me get a whole fucking table right here or something where I have like a giant gong. I'm gonna have to think about the logistics of this, Cynthia. I'm gonna work on it very hard, but thank you for the super chat.
In their maternal role, they shouldn't be in politics.
I'm sure that you would love to have kind of a say on what women can and can't do and what their roles in society should be. I disagree with that. I do think women should be encouraged to become mothers, and we need strong women to lead families and have and raise great kids. However, I am not using a woman's natural biological differences as
you want
basically fodder against their right to vote, basically.
Even if it costs you your liberty and it costs you all of your...
All right, we got a $1 from Goro over on Rumble. All of our problems will not be solved by gay sex because this massively increases the amount of HIV infections. Also a fair argument from Goro on Rumble. Appreciate the $1, bro. Thank you.
They voted for a majority of them for a Republican in the last election. So it does show that with the right arguments, you can convince people to vote Republican. That is a factual statement of recent elections that happened. So Rachel, if you are just bad at showing people why it's better to not vote and for women to live under the rule of men and only have them make political and financial decisions for them, then just say that, right? In my opinion, I have spent over...
Thank you for the $10 super chat, bro. Really appreciate that. I'm a poor graduate student, but here's for the gong fund. Oh, God. You guys are making my gong. Thank you, Origami. I really appreciate the super chat, bro, especially since you're a poor college student. And then we've got Goros with a W. Goro on Rumble with a W, gifting 5 channel memberships over on Rumble. Ding, ding, ding. Ginny, you guys got a gifted channel membership. A couple other people did as well. Congrats to everyone who got a gifted channel membership on Rumble. Appreciate you guys. Thanks for hanging out.
Well, I've spent over the last decade on college campuses talking to students from the left, to men and women, basically on why conservative values are better, to sway them to my side. I don't show up. I don't conservative values. I don't show up on a campus and tell 18-year-old girls, hey, you're just too dumb and your hormones fluctuate and you totally should leave all political decisions to men. I think you can't handle yourself and that's why you should totally believe what I say and, stop voting in the future. Let's talk about
I get to reply to that.
Facts.
I get to reply to that first.
No, you went on for quite some time, so let me finish.
I'm going to reply to what you just said because you just said you must really hate women. You must have all this disdain.
I think anybody watching will say that you.
Now, Rachel Wilson is quickly catching up with being just as annoying as the dumb blonde. Rachel is like, the dumb blonde was way ahead of her in terms of annoying, and now Rachel's like, oh, no, honey, hold my beer.
Don't like
or red wine glass or whatever the fuck she drinks.
women, or you hold women of lesser value than men, and I disagree with that.
Okay, well, I'll prove to you that that's not true.
Okay.
Before the passage of the 19th Amendment, the groups, we had two groups. We had the pro-suffrage side, and
No,
we
why
had,
do you? Why do
Hold on,
you?
wait, let
not
her
like-
finish.
we had two different groups. Pro-suffrage and anti-suffrage.
Chardonnay.
The
Yeah, probably
vast
Chardonnay, you're
majority
right.
of women were absolutely against.
You know what she probably
the
drinks? You know what she probably fucking drinks? Is like rosé or like white Zinfandel or something like that. Or like, what is that sweet one? Mercado? Is that not Mercado? Not Mercado like Mercado Media, but like it's some sort of like sweet white wine or like a white Zinfandel or something like that.
19th Amendment and women's voting rights. Did all of those
Moscato.
women also
Thank you.
hate other
Thank you.
women?
That one.
Susan
Yeah.
B. Anthony herself said
Moscato.
if we'd left it up to women to pass women's voting rights, it never would have happened. That all their support came from
Moscato,
progressive
whatever.
socialist men. So I'm asking you, my
wine?
great grandmother who did not think.
Listen, to be fair, okay, the only time I ever had boxed wine was when I stayed with my aunt and my cousin in Palm Springs, and they always had boxed wine in the fridge. And eventually one night they got me to break down and actually try the boxed wine. It wasn't bad, I have to say. The boxed wine that I had in Palm Springs that one time, it really wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Politics was the role of women. Was she hateful toward women, or did she instinctively know that this was going to create the gender divide that you don't like? The gender divide you're trying to fight was
I don't care
caused by
what
trying to
you're-
politicize women and put them in men's roles and have them be involved in politics and government. Did those women hate women?
I don't care if a majority
Yeah,
of women were
sangria?
against women's
Well,
rights.
you're
It doesn't-
accusing
let me
me.
finish.
Hold
Let me
on.
finish
Let her
because
finish.
yeah.
Let her finish.
I don't care
Sangria is
if
a massive
99.9% of women were against women having equal values to men. It still doesn't take away from the fact that it is correct that women have equal values
Why?
to men. Because
You prefer it.
no, because this country was founded on protecting the minority, right?
No, it wasn't.
Let me finish. Let me finish, Rachel. This country was founded to protect the individual, right? We're not a democracy. We are a constitutional republic because we all have inherent value. So it does not matter that 99.9% of the population wants something if it tramples on the
That's from you guys.
individual's rights,
Thanks, Bill.
Rachel.
Okay.
This is basic stuff.
Okay, now
from
we're getting
school.
somewhere. Now we're getting somewhere.
And so again, it doesn't matter if somebody that supported women's suffrage, so women voting, was a literal witch, a Satanist, a Marxist, or whatever. I don't care. It doesn't take anything away from the fact that it is still right that men
Yep.
and women have
True.
equal value when it comes to
True
representation,
and
right? It does not
real.
matter
True
that
and
men are
real.
physically stronger than women, and that's why, they should then be the ones to vote, because ballots are not the same thing as barbells, Rachel. And again, this is why I am glad to be here.
Sorry, keep going.
I'm glad.
Tiffany, what are you doing?
I'm glad.
Sorry, keep going.
I'm glad to be here because I equally think that there's really toxic voices in the conservative red pill movement that are putting so many people off from what our side really is about. And some people think that in the red pill movement, all these women just want to take away women's rights. And like Andrew Breitbart said, that politics is downstream from culture. There's a lot of people in this, manosphere, which I'd include you in that,
I debate, me and Andrew both debate against manosphere guys.
Yes,
so.
But you have a lot of similar opinions, which is that women don't have equal value to men and that they should not vote. And I think that's toxic, and it's part of the culture, and it is flowing downstream, and it is affecting politics. And as a result, Rachel, young women in this country are the most left-wing they've ever been in history before. I wonder what that is. And I wonder if telling those young girls that they, are not smart enough to vote, that they are not emotionally mature enough to vote, is going to bring them to our side. I think that that is a personal thing as well. Like as an individual, you seem to have a higher emotionality rate than myself, and the same goes for men. That can vary.
You just talk and talk and talk. You're just gish galloping.
We're going to be here.
That was a very emotional reaction, Rachel. That it seems, is Rachel like PMSing or something? Like me. That's like such a fucking emotional reaction when you're arguing that women are too emotional to do anything. It's like, okay,
We're going to be here for 5 hours,
but it has
Rachel,
to be a
so
back
we're
and
gonna
forth
be
exchange.
talking
I don't
and
want to
talking
hear
and
about
talking.
your all you just gave me was emotions. You
No,
just
I
gave me a
didn't.
whole I feel like this and I think that
No, I
blah,
didn't
and-
feel, and I think I gave you specific
Can you
examples.
land
But
the
now
plane?
I'll turn it back over to you again, Rachel. Why shouldn't women vote?
Might I quickly ask a moderation question here? You had posited that women turning to becoming more left-leaning is because of sentiments that Rachel holds.
Yeah.
Rachel, do you believe that this trend in women becoming more left-wing is because of the some of this rhetoric, or?
Well, I'll answer that in a second,
Sure.
but first I want to point out that she's a contradiction machine. I had to wait and wait and wait for, yes. First you were like, ooh, I got her. She doesn't believe in democracy. Ooh, that's a good clip. I'm going to tell everybody she doesn't believe in democracy. And then you said, we're not a democracy. We're a representative republic. So
Constitutional
which is
republic.
it? Do you believe in democracy or no?
I believe in democracy because a constitutional republic is a mix of a constitution that holds specific inalienable rights for people, and then a democracy where people vote on things that are not up for debate. Do you understand those two concepts?
Of course I do.
Okay,
You're the one
great.
that doesn't understand
Fantastic.
those two concepts
Fantastic.
because you don't understand the difference
Okay.
between the founding form of government and the one we have now. You want universal suffrage. That's a progressive position. You just contradicted yourself on
human rights
multiple
position.
counts. You said, if I don't agree with women voting, that means I hate women. And I said, the vast majority of women never wanted votes. They didn't want
And I
votes
said
for
that
women.
does not matter.
They even banned women from voting on whether they wanted to vote. It's my turn now. I know you're waiting to speak, but let me finish.
God, wasn't it with a
Women didn't
Cam
want
on
to
fucking
vote.
kick
They weren't
lately?
hateful. I don't hate women. I'm not emotional. I'm overly emotional here or something. I'm saying that women are of equal value. That doesn't mean that they have the same roles as men. This idea, what you're doing is muddying the waters and saying, unless we're the same across the board, that's inequality. Again, a leftist position. Time after time after time, you say you're for liberty, you say you're for rights,
Correct.
you say you're conservative,
Yep.
but every idea you articulate is a left-wing progressive idea. And you keep contradicting yourself. Your worldview is no, I haven't contradicted myself at all.
Okay. Sure.
Me not wanting women to be involved in politics does not in any way mean that I hate them. In fact, it's out of love for them that I don't want them involved in this sort of stuff. For the same
Aren't you
reason,
involved
I
in
don't want
politics
them
right now with this debate that we're having in front of a ton of people.
No, pro-suffrage and anti-suffrage women debated. Women have women can talk to each other, and
Why
women
not?
have always debated each other.
Why not do that at home? Why in front of an audience of people? Isn't that getting directly involved in politics?
No, it's
and wanting
not.
to influence politics, because we're arguing here for different political prescriptions, right? For what we think is best for society. And somebody that might be watching might think, you know, Rachel's a hypocrite because she's, you know, over here debating instead of being at home with the kids like a good conservative woman should do. I'm against that, by the way. I don't think that should be the case. But what would you say to those people?
I've addressed this criticism so many times, and if you had prepared at all for this debate, if you had watched any of my stuff, you'd know what my answer to this is already.
Go for it.
It was never the case that women couldn't speak in public.
Hey, thanks, Nick, for the super chat. These women are annoying. I hate you, Trendlin. It's all Trendlin's fault, guys. Remember, this is Trendlin's day. I had to watch this to repay a debt I owe her. It's Trendlin's fault. Blame her. Or enjoy. Whatever.
It was never the case that women couldn't have opinions, couldn't write books, couldn't have, you know, discourse in public.
Sure about that?
It's what?
You're sure? Okay.
I'm sure about that. Yes, that is a commonly held myth that women, that
we'll go back to that
people
one after.
think that women were not allowed. If women were not allowed, how come we had suffragists and feminists publicly speaking, writing books, doing speaking tours, doing debates from the 1700s on. And even before that, my book has a whole chapter where I give multiple examples of women being able to have a voice. Just because they couldn't vote or hold political office, just because there were limitations, that's not oppression. Again, that's a leftist position. For you to say women have to be able to do everything men can do, there should be no gendered roles, we should all have all options open. That's a progressive position.
Roles, that's a
so
little
you're
bit broad,
saying
but
women should be able to do anything men can do.
I never said that.
Yeah, if men can vote,
Have the
women should be
same-
able to vote.
same
If
legal
men
rights and financial rights, yes, but not do everything men can do.
Why?
you know.
Why should it be the case that women should be able to vote?
Why? Because we have equal inherent values as human beings.
Says who?
Says me. Says
you.
God. Right? You know, that
No.
we are also
where does God
equal as well. But let's
we have
go back.
equal value. No.
Let's go
We're
back.
not going to go back. Equal rights. Explain equal rights to me. Why do all
Rights are-
people have?
Did Trendlin fucking leave? Thank God. I was about to call Trendlin. If you had fucking left after demanding that I watch this video, I was gonna fucking call you live on the stream and yell at you.
Have the
Because
exact
rights
same rights.
are representative of values. I'll go back to the argument of, you know, how certain people shouldn't have equal voice because of, you know, their tax contributions in the U.S.
So
and whatnot.
you
But let
don't
me
believe all
let me
people should
finish.
vote. So
Let
you
me
don't
finish.
believe no.
Let me-
So you don't
let me
believe all
finish.
people should vote.
Let me finish. To get to the point, the more recent point we were making, you said that
That would probably have been one of the most hilarious Trendlin things that ever happened, though, if she had actually done that. If Trendlin had actually forced me to watch this 6-hour stupid debate, and then she just got up and left in the middle of it, and no one knew, and we didn't find out until like hour 4 or 5 of the debate, that would have actually been pretty fucking funny.
women could freely express themselves and, you know, do all of that. Are you denying that women were, I guess, silenced in any way, shape, or form in recent history? Let's say in the 19th century, the 20th century, that women, you know, if they tried to be vocal about their beliefs, that they were not repressed in any kind of way, yes or no?
If you're talking about like stigma, like people didn't like it or it was looked down upon, so what? I'm saying it was not illegal.
No, I'm not talking
It
about
was never
stigma.
illegal.
Let Rachel finish. Go.
Okay, so to that point then, it is clear and documented reality, for example, that if women, even in the 20th century, right, up until the 1960s, we are still doing lobotomies on people here in the US and lobotomies on women. So
on just women?
No, not just
This
women.
is another myth. I'm glad she brought this
Let me
up.
finish talking.
Go
Not just
ahead.
women, but a majority of women. Absolutely, yes. This was happening in the US still in the 1960s. So loud, opinionated women could be easily diagnosed with something like hysteria or anxiety or anything, be carted off to an institution, and then be recommended different medications like opium tinctures, right? Happy pills for moms that were
Happy
acting
pills.
too crazy
I
and
want
that
happy
were
pills.
overwhelmed.
Who doesn't
Forms
want
of
happy
heroin, alcohol,
heroin. Never
nerve
mind.
tonics, right? A very popular one before Valium, which happened in the 1960s, was barbiturates, right? From the 1900s to the 1950s. So in recent history, you could say that women's voices have been stifled and repressed, and I'm obviously against that.
Why the fuck did they?
So you can't.
Why the fuck did they take away the happy pills? So this seems like a fucking great idea. Can we bring back the happy pills?
Can't say that no, women just had a right to say whatever they want, do whatever they want in recent history, and there was just equality for them. This is documented facts and documented history.
Okay, first of all,
Go ahead.
I don't think anybody should be able to just do whatever they want. That's you, the libertarian. That's you, the libertarian leftist, who thinks people should just be able to do whatever they want.
To clarify, 2 seconds.
There is no such thing as a libertarian leftist. That does not fucking exist. Communist libertarianism, socialist libertarianism does not exist.
I do believe that people should do what you want as long.
Libertarians are anarcho-capitalists. They're not anarcho-communists. Like that is like, communists do not believe in private property. Libertarians do believe in private property. It is a complete contradiction in terms to say libertarian fucking leftist.
As you don't hurt others and you don't take their stuff.
Only
yeah.
literal retards think so. Only literal retards believe that libertarians are leftists. Let me fucking educate you before you say another stupid retard thing in my chat. Leftists want to abolish private property ownership. Capitalism is defined as private property ownership. Libertarians want private property ownership. Therefore, ergo, they are on the fucking right. They are not on the left. They are on the right. The left wants to abolish private property. The right does not want to abolish private property. Only literal retards who don't understand what the fuck they're talking about think that libertarians are leftist. It is a complete contradiction in terms. No, retard. No, I'm not. You don't know. Okay, hey, J-Doc, do me a favor. What does the left mean when they say private property ownership or capitalism? Pop quiz for you, bro. You know everything and we know nothing. Here is your chance to prove that you know everything and we know nothing. What does the left mean when they say private property ownership, which is their definition of capitalism? Go. I want a complete list of what they mean when they say private property ownership. Go. No one else answer. Only for this guy because he thinks he knows everything and we know nothing. What does the left mean when they say capitalism or private property ownership? No one else in the chat answer. Go. J-Doc, if you don't answer the question, I'm going to deport you permanently from the channel. So you either answer the fucking question or you say you don't know. Or you can be deported from the channel. So that's up to you entirely. What does the left mean when they say private property ownership, which is their definition of capitalism? We're waiting, J-Doc. You know everything. We know nothing, right? We know you're listening. What do they mean when they say private property ownership? We are waiting for your answer very patiently. You have 15 seconds to answer me before I permanently ban you from the channel. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. You can say I don't know. That's true. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. See, guys, it is always the fucking coward faggots that won't even admit that they don't know the answer to the question, that they pussy out. No, I'm not, bro. No, I'm not. No, that's not an answer to the question. I'm so sorry. Permanently banned. Go away. Goodbye. Go away. Goodbye, asshole. For the chat. When the left says capitalism, which means private property ownership, what do they explicitly define as private property ownership? I'm not going to give you the answer. We're going to let the chat answer so that retard can see how stupid and uneducated he was. My chat is now going to answer the question that guy couldn't answer. What does the left mean when they say private property ownership? They mean bourgeois property. What does that mean? Property that you can use to accumulate mass privatized wealth. Give me some examples of it. What does it mean? Give me some examples of it. Borders are a form of it. Yup. Housing, private business, apartment rentals, intellectual property, land, parental rights are considered to be a form of private property. Individual liberties. That's what they mean. Owning a home, a business, parental rights, children, yup, homeland, intellectual property, property that accumulates generational wealth. That's why parental rights are considered to be a form of private property. Passes generational wealth from parent to child. Landlords are considered private property owners. Parental rights, residents, yup, monogamous marriage is considered to be a form of private property ownership. Look how smart my chat is. Smarter than the retard that we just deported from the chat. Well done, guys.
So do what thou wilt.
Do what you want.
Do what
Don't
thou
hurt
wilt shall be
others,
the whole
don't
of the
take
law.
their stuff. However, myself, I personally want to live my life in a more traditional conservative role. What
Driana,
everybody else does
that
is not
that
my
is
business.
the epitome of the left libertarian. That
It
is
is
a
in your
left
opinion.
No, not in my opinion. That
No, it
is
is
the
not.
definition of left libertarian politics that you just articulated. Do whatever you want as long as you don't hurt anybody else, bro.
And don't take their
And
stuff.
taxation is theft, man. And like, I wouldn't choose it, but you should be able to do what you want. You know what I'm saying? Without daddy government like breathing down your neck and stuff, bro. She's like,
That's
absolutely.
what our founding
You
fathers
should-
believed.
You are not a Republican.
That's what our
No, they
founding
didn't.
fathers believed.
You're not a
Yes, they
Republican.
did.
You're not a conservative, and you're most definitely a feminist. Now it's my
Sure.
turn to
Oh
finish.
my
All your
God.
nonsense
You
about
are a feminist
women getting
because
lobotomies.
I say
Men were
so,
given lobotomies all the
okay?
time too. I
Yep.
did a whole project
Yep.
on this.
But
on,
mostly women.
no, on MK Ultra.
Disproportionately
No, be quiet.
women.
It's my turn.
Go
My
ahead.
turn. You're getting a little emotional.
People can
getting
Google.
a little emotional.
No,
not
I'm
able
not.
to
You're getting
control your
emotional.
yapping.
No, I'm
yap,
not.
yaps.
But people can Google stuff for themselves.
One in the chat if you think that Rachel Wilson is getting emotional. Two in the chat if you think Rachel Wilson is not getting emotional. We're not talking about the dumb blonde. I don't care about her. One in the chat if you think Rachel Wilson seems to be getting a little emotional. Two in the chat if you think that Rachel Wilson is definitely, totally not getting emotional. It's a lot of ones, Rachel. That's a lot of ones. Couple twos. You got a couple people on your team. Mostly ones, though. Lots of ones. Don't vote fucking twice. I saw your original vote. Don't vote twice to make it seem like more people support her than they do. Don't fucking cheat. This is the honor system here.
Yes, they can. And if they get my book, they're going to read all about that too. Clearly, you didn't read the book. You could have saved yourself so
Yeah,
much
that was
time with all these
sure.
bad
read
arguments
the
if you
book.
had taken the
True.
time to have them debunked before this. But no, men were also locked up in mental institutions, forced to give in lobotomies. That was not a gender-specific thing whatsoever. There's always, no, let me clarify. Let me help you here. I'm going to educate you a little bit. Women have always, everywhere in every culture, and this is verified right now by two huge studies that looked at all different cultures around the world in 2009, and then they did a follow-up several years later. It's called The Paradox of Women's Happiness. Women everywhere are more prone to mental illness, anxiety, depression, and all types of mental problems. That is not men oppressing us. That happens to be a fact of how women are. And yes, most of it's biology and hormones, but a lot of it is just the fact that female constitutions are much more susceptible to negative effect. This is a
suicides are men.
well-established fact in clinical psychology as well. They wouldn't even deny it. Yes, more men commit suicides, but women attempt it more. Men are just better at actually following through. You know, it's that whole men being better at stuff thing again, I guess. But so that's a lie what you just told. And let's go back to this idea that, like, do you think that all men everywhere could vote before the 19th? Do you think that it was all the men could vote and they were like, don't let the girls vote, you guys. We have to keep our
No,
boot
there were
on their neck.
property. There were property rights. There were property distinctions. So some men that didn't own property could not vote. There were a lot of requirements. There were literacy tests as well.
Yes.
So yes,
There were poll taxes. There were religious restrictions. There were all kinds of
all
restrictions
of them
on
that
men's
were,
voting.
all of them that were deemed what unconstitutional, Rachel, right?
After
we,
what? After the progressive era, when progressives took control of the government, they passed the 19th Amendment. That was a progressive agenda, ma'am.
Ma'am.
You're
The
not
US
a conservative. I hate to break this to you.
Constitution,
You are a
the
liberal progressive.
The U.S. Constitution being clarified is not a progressive thing, right? Making sure throughout the years that it is clarified that all people have the same equal rights, inherent value, and voting rights is not a progressive issue. That's what you're choosing to call it.
It radically, that's not true. It radically transformed the identity of this country.
I'm choosing to call it steps in the right direction towards individual liberties, which conservatives believe in. Conservatives believe in the rights of the individual. If you are against that, then you are not conservative.
I
right?
don't use the label conservative.
And you're
the
not-
one who uses the label conservative, not me.
I'm broadly
And I'm telling you,
conservative.
you're not conservative.
And I also have libertarian
Everything-
values too. You know, you can't really put people into boxes like that nowadays because not everybody's opinions on every single little topic, there's like 200 different things we could discuss, is going to fall cleanly
then.
into conservative or
So
libertarian.
what you want to conserve is Obama era policies. You want to what are you
one. Name
conserving?
one. Name one.
Any. I'm
Name
asking
one,
you
Rach.
one
Name
thing you're
one.
conserving.
Yeah,
Name
I
one.
think,
What are you conserving?
No, you
again, I think this is a very good question. Why the fuck isn't Rachel Wilson at home with her 5 kids by 3 baby daddies? Why isn't Rachel at home with her kids? She wants to be a trad wife. She wants to be a. I'm not I'm not a conservative, and I've never said I am. I don't have kids. I'm not gonna have kids. I'm gonna say and do whatever the fuck I want because I can, honestly. But I'm not out there pretending to be some traditionalist, trad, Christian, conservative, whatever the fuck. If I had 5 kids, even if I had a couple kids that were not grown, I would be staying the fuck at home and being with them. But Rachel Wilson doesn't really believe any of this stuff. That's why she's always running around on all these shows. That's why she's not at home with her kids. It's like, I agree with this point.
just said Obama era
Gay
policy.
marriage.
Obama, oh my God. That again.
Yeah, I agree.
want to conserve Obama.
I totally agree. She's trying to be Andrew and it doesn't work. 100%.
Era politics. You can't give me any conservative position you hold that you want to. What are you conserving? This is why I don't call myself Republican. Why I don't call myself conservative.
That's what I'm conserving.
Freedom to marry your boyfriend and smoke weed and not pay taxes.
Yes.
Okay.
Individual liberties
actually,
for another generation. Your freedom of speech, Rachel. I am very much trying to conserve that, because if it wasn't for conservatives, then all of your opinions, if we're not under this administration that we currently are right now, if we were under a government like the UK's, you'd probably be put in jail as soon as this podcast was over for saying something like, I'd be happy that Black women wouldn't vote, and a bunch of other
I didn't say that. Wait. We have to back that up, because I did not say that.
Remember the words, but
I did not.
Cynthia, hang on one sec. Give me a sec.
Black women to not.
Give me a sec.
For Black women.
Cynthia sent in a super chat. Thank you, Cynthia. These purity tests are also harming the right. I totally agree, Cynthia. That took me a minute to answer, because can I complain for a second? Can I pause this stupid debate to complain for a second? So I posted this picture earlier today. You guys can't see it. And really, I was just trying to take a picture with my, I call it my big girl Chanel bag. It's a Chanel double flap. It's fucking awesome. It's huge. And I don't know how anyone could possibly have a problem with this bag. It's caviar leather. It goes with fucking everything. It has gold hardware. It fits everything. And it's a cool fucking bag. And I don't think I had shown people that bag that I have. It is an awesome, 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 awesome bag. But I have to tell you, I was a little perturbed when in my comments just now, this dumb bitch said, no offense, but it doesn't go with your outfit. I'm like, I'm wearing a black t-shirt, blue jeans, and purple sneakers. How in the ever-loving fuck does a black purse with gold hardware not go with that outfit? How exactly? That purse goes with fucking everything. What the fuck are you talking about? That's a dressier bag, and you're not allowed to wear nice bags with jeans and t-shirts. This is the mind of a conservative, guys. This is a mind of a conservative. They really think that the only place that you should be able to wear a jumbo Chanel double flap is out to some sort of fucking fancy event where everyone is wearing sparkles, which, by the way, this bag is way too fucking big to wear to a fancy event. If I was going to go to some sort of fancy event, I would bring a much smaller bag, possibly a bag with sequins and sparkles and glitter and all that bullshit. I have one of those bags. It's a gold Gucci Python bag with a Dionysus with crystals on it. It's all sparkly and shiny. Then that's a much smaller fucking bag. It's only like this big. The Chanel one's like this big. What the fuck is this bitch talking about? Dumb fucking conservatives. They ruin everything. I swear to God, guys, they ruin everything. Wear whatever fucking bag you want. Wear whatever bag you want.
To not
Can-
vote
can you
because
just-
they would vote
No, hold on. Just
primarily
for
against
the
Republicans.
purposes
Yeah, what
I
was
should bring the
exactly
lightning bolt bag. I should.
You,
Yep.
you
wording on
said
Good
What-
idea.
you would.
What are
if-
you asserting?
Do you want to like play it back her clip
It's
on
difficult for us to.
I can
to
tell you
find it.
exactly what
Okay.
happened.
So-
She
Police, I
said,
swear
"Oh,
to
if you're
God.
going to deny votes based on sex, then you're
Exactly,
also going to
Grace.
have to not
Exactly.
let black people vote." And I
Exactly.
said,
That's
"That's
not what I said.
absurd." You said you would have to,
That's
and
not what I said.
I said I absolutely would not say that you would ever have to say black people can't vote. I'm not for that. I'm against
Exactly.
that. I do not
It's like you can't wear diamonds with jeans. Like, in what fucking universe can't you wear diamonds with jeans? Like, wear
believe that
anything.
race should be the defining factor in who gets to vote
But gender,
whatsoever.
yes.
Well,
But
make up
gender,
Gender
stupid
should be
rules.
part of it, and I'll tell you why. Women do not have to sign up for the draft.
Mhm.
Women do not have to defend this country with their bodies. In fact, the anti-suffragists articulated this and said,
I disagree
we
with the
don't
drafts.
want to be involved with politics. Just let me finish. Just
Go
let me
ahead.
finish.
Disagree
The
with
women who
drafts.
didn't want to be political equals with men said, why would you task us with something we can't do? We can't defend the borders. We can't defend the nation. We can't rule the nation. Men have the monopoly on force. That's for men to do. We want men to protect us and our children. Our role is to raise the children. That's too important. We can't be involved in politics
So it's
for that
important
reason.
for women
why
to
are you
raise
involved
children,
in
right? It's an
politics?
important role,
Mhm.
right? A role important and equal enough for them to vote on the future of this country and the rules that they live by, right? Or do you think it's not important enough for
Well,
of a role for them to vote?
The problem with that is
Carlin, can you make the annoying blonde shut the fuck up? Can you play that video? You want me to do this? You want me to do this, average person? You want me to do this? You want this?
You take your top lip and connect it to your bottom lip, you will shut the fuck up. Sometimes shutting the fuck up is the best thing you can do.
Wait, what? Did the Kino Casino's channel get nuked? No! No! What happened? Hang on.
comes down to force.
Hang on. Sorry. Kino Casino. Holy shit. No! It's over! No! The quartering won! No! Well, on the bright side, guys, the Kino Casino is going to be bitching and complaining about this over on Kick, and that's going to be entertaining for us. So now that their clip channel has gotten nuked, they're going to be good and fucking pissed off.
So you can have an opinion, and women did. So you don't need voting rights in order to have your voice be heard. A good example of this is prohibition. The Women's Temperance Union got prohibition passed. Bad idea, by the way, but somebody listened to the women, so we got prohibition passed because this was a pet project of the Women's Christian Temperance Union. They did not need to vote to get their voices heard.
Why all the conservative hate? Because conservatives are fucking classical retards that don't know what the fuck they're talking about. And I'm very sorry, bro. If you think we're all funded by George Soros, you're probably not smart enough to be on this channel. So don't say any more retarded shit in the chat, because now I'm going to keep an eye on you. You say any more fucking retard shit, then we're just going to have to deport you. And that's just going to be the way it is. Because unlike you guys, unlike fucking conservatives, we are not afraid to deport as many fucking people as possible.
They did not need to vote to have their agenda passed. So you don't need
So why
voting
does it
rights
matter
to
then?
be heard.
So
What do
why
you
does
mean?
it matter then that they do have it?
Because what happens, this is what the anti-suffragists also predicted. They were very smart women. These women were not hateful and they were not stupid, and they've been done dirty by history, which is why I'm here trying to help revive this. Anti-suffrage women said, if we become a political bloc, we lose the moral high ground. What will happen is politicians will pander to us. They will make us just another voting bloc. They will promise a whole bunch of things that sound really good and do what they want anyway.
Don't they do it already
and by
for
that,
everybody?
yes, they do, which is why I'm against it. It's why I don't like the system.
For men and for women.
Yeah, that's why
Politicians
I
do
don't
it for
like
men.
democracy. It's why I don't like the system. But that aside, these women said,
we're clarifying that
if
again.
we become just another political voting bloc, we lose the moral high ground we have. Before women could vote, they could stand up and say, we think you need to do something about clean water. We think you need to do something about safety in public parks. We want better schools. We want more prohibitions on alcohol. Whatever it was, their agenda was heard and got passed without them having to vote.
Unless it was something completely too radical, right? And in that case, then they'd be sent to an institution for crazy people and lobotomized.
They did that to men too. They did that to radical men too. It was not a gendered thing.
Basically, individuals, right? People that have a way of thinking that was more individualist, those are the ones that usually get shut down and have their rights trampled upon in history, which is, again, why it is so necessary for the individual to have equal voting rights and an equal voice within the political system that they have to live under. If we were anywhere else, outside of this podcast and debate right now, we'd have to stop talking right now because, there's no point in trying to convince somebody that, an individual has human rights, equal rights, and we're just going to have to agree to disagree on that and make it clear to the public on where we stand on your stance being anti-women's rights, anti-voting rights, anti-equality. And my whole point here is to just make it clear that that is the case and that that is not representative of the conservative movement of a whole, and that it is counteractive, counterintuitive, and a negative thing for us because it's just turning more young women to the left seeing these kinds of positions.
You don't think the fact that we have to pander to the emotions of young women, what you just told me is, Rachel, don't say that out loud because we have to pander to the
You have to pander to the emotions of everyone. If you want to accomplish things in the world, you have to pander to the emotions of everyone because all human beings, whether or not men want to admit this, all human beings make decisions emotionally and justify them rationally. That is the way our brain is functioning. That is the way our brain is wired to exist. We make decisions based on emotions, and then we look for logical, rational reasons to justify the decisions we've already made based on emotions. Let me give you an example of this, and I will give you an example for both women and men. Women on Whatnot say, I am saving X amount of money so that by buying things on Whatnot, because I am saving this much money off of retail, that means I'm not spending money, I'm saving money. Okay, the women have already decided they want to fucking buy shit on Whatnot and they want new stuff, and they're rationalizing it by saying, listen, I could go to the fucking mall, but I'm doing it on Whatnot where it's significantly cheaper. So by spending money, I'm actually saving money. Okay, that's women. Okay, that's women emotional decision making. Men will go buy a new fucking toolbox and then buy 187 new tools. Are those 187 tools mostly going to sit in a pile right next to the fucking toolbox until the men get around to needing the tool, to taking the tool out and putting it into the toolbox? Yes, half of those fucking tools are never even going to make it out of the fucking box. They're always just going to sit next to the box because the men didn't need 187 new tools. Probably they didn't even need the fucking toolbox in the fucking first place. But they wanted the toolbox and they said, listen, The only way I can get this new toolbox is if I need enough tools to fit into the toolbox. And so they go buy a whole bunch of shit because they just bought this new toolbox that they really wanted. And now they've got to fit the tools into the toolbox, except that most of those tools are never even going to be taken out of the box. They're going to be sitting right beside the fucking box. And they were never needed in the first place, because the reason the man bought it is I might need that tool someday. And so they overtooled it. Yeah, it's the same fucking thing. All right. Women do this and men do this in their own way. And don't even get me started on fucking fishing. Don't get me started on fishing. Don't get me started on golf clubs. Don't get me started on the amount of RC cars that my husband has. Don't get me started on the amount of knives my husband has. Do you know that my husband has the same fucking knife in 3 different colors? Do you know that my husband has the same knife with 3 different color handles? Same fucking knife, cuts the same fucking way. He just wanted options, okay? He wanted options. So women do this and men do this, and I don't want to hear any differently.
Feelings of young women, because of they have a lot of voting power, they have a lot of political power, and so we have to tell them what they want to hear, and we have to give them what.
And now instantly all the men in the chat are like, the men are like, fuck you, I feel seen. How dare you attack us? We thought we made all decisions from logic. And I'm like, tools, golf, fishing, what else? What else do men do? Barbecuing, RC cars, fucking Legos, knives, watches. Men don't really need that many watches. To be fair, I don't need that many watches either, but guns, coins, woodworking stuff. Yeah, you all do it too. So don't get started on me and my fucking purses. I will buy as many fucking purses as I want, because you've got 187 tools and half of them haven't even been taken out of the box. All right?
They want
the truth.
We have,
Hold on, let her finish.
we have to tell them what they want to hear. We have to give them what they want, because if we don't, they won't vote for us anymore. Rachel, don't you think that's a problem? And
You don't
I'm
care
saying,
about voting.
I'm saying that this is, you're thinking about it wrong, and most people do. You're the whole framing of how you're framing the argument is the problem. The system is the problem. We shouldn't have to appeal to the emotions of certain voting blocks, which is what Black Lives Matter is, which is what the feminist agenda is, which is what
Not
identity
correct.
politics
No.
is. When you give everybody one person, one vote, you end up with all these special interest groups. You end up with all these little voting blocks, and politicians have to pander to them. And so you get these radicalized movements fighting for this group's rights and that group's rights. And I'm saying, I do think that that's we've ended up in a place where, with your universal democracy, where everybody gets a vote, we're going to end up in nonstop, like, basic gang wars, political gang wars.
All
so
I'm
that's
hearing
the problem.
is that you're really bad at making an argument for what you believe in, and would rather just shut down the entire political discourse and keep people from having an opinion. My argument is that I think that what I believe in is good, and that I can present my opinions to people that disagree with them and flip them over to my side because my opinions are based on realities and facts. And again, if you're trying to argue that it's bad for women to vote because a majority of women vote Democrat, right, in the past, and we're trying to get women, or we're trying to live under conservative policies, then again, you'd have to say that you'd be okay with people that disagree with you not having political rights, voting rights, namely Black Americans, that 80 to 90% vote Democrat in political presidential elections. And I'm saying that I would be against that. I feel like, even though it is most definitely an uphill battle, my task is to make sure that I talk to those groups and show them why our side is better, right? Not just to completely shut them down. It's work, Rachel. It absolutely is work. It is framing. It is being a convincing person. It is having to provide, that's what I brought here, proof and, different different studies
Yes,
and things from
your
the
color
from the
organized
NIH.
folders are very impressive. I'm sure you got straight A's in school. Can we get back to
listen? I've been married almost 15 years, so I feel like I can say this now. I feel like I can say this. I feel like I have some expertise in having some semblance of a successful marriage. I'll be wiser when Victor and I have been married 30 years, but like one of the keys to a successful marriage, successful relationship is that you get to like things that the other person's not into. And don't fucking interfere. If my husband likes something, if he's getting autistically obsessed with something, if he wants to spend all his free time building Legos after he does other things he needs to do around the house, I don't give a fuck. My husband has an entire bookcase filled with Legos, and I don't really like where he put that bookcase in the house, but you know what? It's his space. He picked out a bookcase he likes. It's filled with fucking Legos. Just let him have it. Doesn't matter. My husband wants to go hiking and drive RC cars with his friends on the beach or like out in the woods or something, and they want to go drive the car through a stream or like whatever. I don't give a fuck. Go do your hobby. I don't care. My husband wants to go and talk about knives and do this thing with his friend where they get around a kitchen table and they both take out all their knives and they look at them and they compare them and they take some of them apart and then put them back. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. Go do it. And in return, I get to travel whenever the fuck I want. I get to have a purse collection. I get to stream on the internet until all hours of the night. These are the keys to a successful marriage, guys. You both need separate interests, and you just need to leave each other alone sometimes, and to allow the other person to like the things they like. And then sometimes you like the same thing. My husband right now and I are having a fun time shopping for sneakers. And he's really trying to get me into watches more and stuff like that. So sometimes the interests collide and then you can do things together and it's cool.
The debate because you just talk and talk and talk.
Rachel.
So are you going to tell the young women that you want to vote Republican in the next election? Are you going to go to the college campuses and tell those young women, look, I don't like pornography. It's really destructive. Shit. We have to make OnlyFans.
I think I missed a super chat. My bad. I'm sorry, Nick. You hurt my feelings, Meanie. Take my toy home. Yeah, I'm sorry, Nick. Thank you for the super chat, though. Cheek butt, thank you. I'm starting to understand why you constantly say high IQ only. I wish people would just drop the ego for 2 seconds and just take the information. Nope, people would rather die being wrong. Yep. You know what? At first, people come to my channel and they think I'm too mean. At first, they come to the channel and they think I'm too harsh. They think I'm too mean. They think I ban people for disagreeing with me. No. We have built a wall around our chat. We are fascistically enforcing our safe space. And I have learned over the years that the minute that you have low IQ retardation in the chat is the minute everyone is miserable. Everyone else is miserable. And so we enforce the high IQ only. And eventually everyone learns there is a method to my madness because it works. It works. It just does. It's much more peaceful. It's great. 1's in the chat if you like the enforced high IQ rule. 2 in the chat if you think I'm going too far.
It's illegal. We can't have it anymore.
Yeah,
I think that we need to discourage people from using it.
Oh, but you don't want to actually outlaw it.
It'd be good if it did not exist.
1
but
for high IQ.
Again, I think that we're attacking the problem from the wrong end.
I see. So you want us to tell the men that the watching it is bad, but the young ladies producing it, we can't tell the young ladies producing it that they can't make pornography anymore because then they'll get upset and they won't vote for Republicans in the next election. So we have to say, ladies, look, I'm going to appeal to your better sensibilities, and we'll see how this goes on the Dating Talk podcast. If we have some OnlyFans girls, I can't wait to hear you convince them. And I hope that by the end they quit. I do. I hope that by the end you can convince them and they can quit. I think the odds of that happening are basically 0. Are you willing to outlaw pornography?
And you're a Christian, right? You're a Christian yourself.
Of course.
Wasn't the whole point of, Jesus talking to people that sinned to bring them to their side by engaging with them and talking to them?
Do you think that Jesus wanted OnlyFans to be legal?
Of course not. But I think
of course not. So
I think he'd talk to the women that are engaged in that whole, thing, because
Are
unfortunately,
you gonna go to the college campuses and tell these young girls to stop doing OnlyFans or no?
Prostitution, it's called the oldest career for women in the books. And again, it does not make it a good thing. But I think the problem comes from the demand side of things. Women also have lots of temptations that could corrupt them, right? But it's up to us being accountable for ourselves, holding ourselves accountable for if we decide to consume certain things.
You can often outfish a Pisces. Okay. Ha ha, deeds. Well played.
That's working out great. That's working out great. Are you aware of the numbers of how many
women engage in that versus how many men consume that? Yes, I actually am very aware of the numbers.
Oh, by the way, women consume plenty of pornography.
Yes,
this
about
idea that it's
20%.
only men is baloney.
I agree. I never said that. About 20% average women do consume pornography. It's about 70% of men that do consume
What happens if we count written pornography? What happens if we count stuff like 50 Shades of Grey? Then how many women engage in
I don't know the details.
consuming
I don't know the
pornography?
details
Oh,
to
well,
that
let me
kind of
help you.
stuff.
It's the best-selling book of all time among female readers.
Okay.
So women consume plenty of pornography. They just tend to like to read it so they can insert themselves into the nasty sex scene, then watch the actual videos.
Which is bad.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, 50 Shades of Grey, actually, the sex was pretty fucking normal. Like, relatively speaking, the sex in 50 Shades of Grey was extremely normal. Rachel Wilson thinks getting a slap on the ass is like the worst thing that can possibly Rachel, you should watch actual Queer Marxism sometime, and we will show you stuff that is way worse than anything in 50 Shades of Grey. I promise you. Guys, I gotta pee real quick. I'm gonna let this play. I'll be right back.
So shouldn't we be addressing again so are you going to tell people they should stop writing books? Is that your next move, Rachel?
I would absolutely have limits on pornography being produced in all forms. Yes.
On written speech.
I don't agree that see, she's a leftist libertarian. She thinks that porn is free speech. This is your MAGA Republican woman.
I think
this is your feminist, your not feminist conservative advocate. She's going to get everybody to vote for conservatives. She's going to talk. It always reduces to the men. You're exactly what I thought you were. You're worse than I thought you were. It's always, what about the men though? I go, are you going to tell the women to stop? Wait a minute. Are you going to tell the women to stop making porn for men to consume? And she goes, no, I would just encourage them. I would say you probably shouldn't,
No,
sweetie.
that was not your question.
And I'm going to tell the men that they can't have the porn.
Relax, Rachel. Breathe. Who saw?
I'm entertaining. If we had to listen to you blah blah yap 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 all night long, and everybody would leave the chat, nobody would want to be here. So.
Sure, that is not what I said. You asked if I'd make it illegal.
Yeah.
And no, but I would tell women to stop doing it. Those are two completely different.
Oh well, that's okay. She's gonna tell the women to stop doing it, and they're gonna
show them that there's a better way. Yes, absolutely.
Well,
that is what you
gotta work harder. You gotta work harder because it ain't working.
Discourse.
It ain't working. This libertarian idea that we can just talk people into doing what's logical is the whole problem.
Libertarian idea that we could talk people into doing what we want. That's not a libertarian idea. That has existed from the beginning of
your
time.
idea.
This is a thing from. Let me
I'll
finish.
just let you yappity yap.
Exactly. From the beginning of time in Rome, where people would like gather in a town square and then talk about their ideas and then decide on whether they agreed with them or not. So you're arguing again against people discussing ideas and proving why they're better than others, which is bad enough.
I'm not arguing against it,
but
I'm doing it right now. But I'm saying I do think.
Let's go back to.
I do think that we should make certain things illegal. Yes, I don't think it should just be do whatever you want, bro.
How did the war on drugs work out? How has it worked out this
Are you going to tell the young women on the college campuses that you're trying to get to vote Republican that they can't have abortions? Are you going to tell them that's killing babies and you can't do that anymore?
I'll explain.
Or are you just going to try to talk them out of it?
You just presented a question to me. Actually, how I would attack that question is showing why abortion is the killing of a human being based on biology, not on religious arguments or anything like that. The beginning of a human life starts at conception, right? And ends at death. Conception, fetus, baby, toddler, all of that is part of the human developmental life cycle. And so if you believe in individual rights, then, and, you know, not killing innocent people, then you have to argue against abortion. That is my argument. It is
we're
a
talking about
logical
abortion?
one.
Oh, good.
And it is one that
Good. I was hoping to
made
talk about
me, you
abortion.
know, like when I was much younger, I had different opinions on abortion because of what I was taught in school. I was taught that it's okay if like the baby doesn't have nerve endings and then you could just suck it out and whatever. And I'm like, oh, well, then maybe in a few weeks, then it doesn't really matter. But that's actually not the case. It's from conception. That's the beginning of the human life cycle. But again, this is just education, right? Educating people, which you have to do. You can't just tell people no voting for
I know.
you,
We're gonna educate all the problems away. We're just
I'm
gonna
sure
change
she
everyone's
will again.
mind.
I'm sure
we're
she
gonna
will again. Don't
educate.
worry.
We're gonna educate the problems away, Rachel.
Didn't you?
That's the plan.
Yeah, that's worked great. We have more
It's
educated
working.
people are more educated now in human history than ever before. It's not an information problem and it's not an education problem. It's a moral problem, and that's where the rub is. Didn't you bring up was it the Stanford prison study?
Oh, I did.
Yeah,
in the last,
where you said they had to stop the experiment 6 weeks in or something.
Do you
like
want me
that.
to do? Are you handing it
So-
over to me? For
yeah,
me to go?
tell us about that.
Let's talk about that because it
Okay.
actually is a really good one where basically they took in volunteers, students to play as prison guards and another group of volunteers to be prisoners. And what happened after a certain short period of time is that these prison guards started to abuse these fake prisoners so badly that they had to stop the experiment. And my argument using that example was that when individuals have undue power over others, then it is just making it prone to abuse, right? So if men and women don't have equal voting rights and power, then women are equally subject.
Pause for
they
just
are
a second.
going to
I
be
just wanted you to
subject
tell me about the study. I didn't
abuse
need like a
and
whole
abuse
diatribe
and
about
discrimination. That's the point of the study, is that it is in our nature, unfortunately, as humans to take over and abuse those that have less power than us, which is why we need to have
Then let me ask you a
equal
question.
rights.
Why didn't they just pull these people aside, the people that were being the prison guard? Why didn't they get Driana to come in?
Driana was not allowed to come in.
Well, let's say Driana, they called Driana and they go, you need to come in here. And what we need you to do is talk to them and convince them why it's bad to abuse these people. You need to educate them, Driana, until they behave.
Yeah, I would have gone in there and told them, hey, you guys, are y'all crazy?
Because that wasn't part of the fucking experiment. Because, Rachel, when you are, and listen, I don't condone the Stanford prison experiment. I know exactly what it is. There's a great movie about this, but there's a couple of great movies about it. It's an interesting thing. But like when you are setting up an experiment, you set specific bounds and rules for the experiment, and anything you do outside of those rules is basically fucks up all the data. So, Rachel, they couldn't have done something like that. It wasn't in the fucking experiment. It was not in the inclusion-exclusion criteria.
Are you guys okay? Do you know that? Do you know that
Can
this
you go
is
to
an
the
experiment?
prisons for us? Can we get Driana to go to prisons
not
and
in
just
the
talk
methodology.
to the criminals
You
until
think
the
that doesn't-
criminals
That's a different
understand?
thing.
Hey, you listen,
Are you
buddy.
okay, Rachel? Relax. By the way,
Listen, buddy.
By the way, they do that in real prisons, right?
How's that working?
You've got pastors that go to real prisons.
And what is the success
and-
rate on educating criminals
and
out
they
of
bring
doing
them-
crime?
And they bring them books. And
Yeah,
they
what's
bring
the
them-
success rate?
And they bring them Bibles.
I know what they do.
right?
How well does
So-
it work?
I don't have statistical numbers in front of
Oh.
me. You want to pull that up, Brian?
Almost never. The
we
recidivism
can
rate
look that
for
up. So
most
don't
crimes.
Don't bring up
What
statistics.
What specific?
Don't bring up statistics because
Unless
then
you
I'll be
don't-
wrong.
Unless you don't have it with you, basically.
We can look it up.
So let's chat GPT.
Like recidivism rate for violent crimes.
That has nothing to do with somebody going in and talking to people to try to
But
convince them to
why
change
would
their
they
ways.
keep offending if we can just talk them out of it? We just say, listen, Mr. Murderer.
Not everybody's
you
going
just
to-
you just need to be educated. This is another classic left wing. This is Black Lives Matter's whole thing. Yes,
Oh
this is
my-
if you go to
no,
Black
it's
Lives Matter's
not.
website, they want rehabilitation.
No.
They want to educate people out of doing
No.
crime. It's
Those are
a
two
left
different
wing
things that you're
position.
conflating.
Oh, no, we're just going to convince them. We're just going to convince convince people to do what's right for them. We're going to convince people.
Rachel Wilson doesn't understand what she's reading when she's on BLM's website, but we're not gonna, I don't feel like debunking her like that excessively. She just doesn't understand what she's reading, and that's
to
just,
do
like,
take the
the end of
smarter
it.
option.
Take a breath.
Yeah,
Okay,
you're
there you go.
doing the thing that everybody does where they pretend that the other person is crashing out when they're not. It's not going to work. You're getting your butt
what
whooped
did
in
you
this.
want me to,
You're
look
getting
at
your
let's see
butt
if
whooped, so
any
you're mad.
programs in prison from pastors or that reintegrate people into society, get them educational degrees, because that's something that does
It has
happen.
to be a lot more concise than that. It would have to be like,
I know.
I do have,
Yeah, I mean, I would actually agree with this too. I mean, I don't think it's you cannot deny that there are people who go to prison and end up turning their lives around. That does happen. Maybe it doesn't happen often. And I'm not suggesting I think more people should be in prison, not less. And so, like, I'm not arguing that like every single person in prison can be rehabilitated, but if someone has always grown up in a bad area, if someone has family who were in prison, if someone has, you know, a father who maybe wasn't there and so they didn't get that like type of reinforcement or whatever, there are any number of reasons why people might end up in prison at a more disproportional like rate that, quite frankly, like, yeah, is it their fault they committed crime, but were they raised in an environment that made it more likely for them to commit crime because of like reason X, Y, B, and Z? And perhaps if we introduce other influences to them and we show them other ways of existing in the world, can they turn their lives around and do something more productive? This has happened countless times. And so can everyone be saved? No, not everyone can be saved. I think that some people should just be put in prison for the rest of their lives with no opportunity to get out at all ever. And I think society would be better for it. But is it just trash to say that like some people can be saved and that's a good thing? And it is a good and positive thing if you can help some people turn their lives around to be productive and contributing and stuff like that. And maybe like literally they had just grown up in an environment where no one believed in them and no one gave them that opportunity. It's kind of cool when that can happen, even if it happens at like a substantially lower rate, you know?
Let's see if we can make it as concise as possible. What are the success rates of rehabilitation programs in prison? My argument,
they're well known to be extremely abysmal. That's why it doesn't work.
I agree. My thing
you
is,
can't educate people into making moral choices, Driana.
For what specific crime? Is it just violent crime, drugs?
Pick one for now, I guess.
Well,
okay, how about this? Child sex offenders. Can we educate them into making better choices? Can Driana go and just sit them down and they have a dialogue and she says, look, Mr. Child Sex Offender, I don't think that you're violating someone else's personal rights. And on that basis, I think you should stop it.
Rachel, do you still want, wait, one sec really quick. Do you still want the recidivism rate for violent crime stat?
It's very
It says over 60% of violent offenders are rearrested for a new crime within 8 years of release.
Okay, so 60% is a lot. Of course, that's a lot of people. That's 40% of people who are not, though. That's still a lot of people. And, you know, listen, people make mistakes in their lives and sometimes they make horrible mistakes. But I think it's a good and positive thing when people can make a mistake and go experience the consequence for that mistake and use that time in prison to actually do something fucking productive and to turn their life around. I think that's really inspiring and I think it's a good thing. And I think that if 40% of people can do that, that's actually good, you know. Andre, thank you so much for the super chat. Both of these women think corruption is just a word in a dictionary until they end up before a corrupt DOJ in any of the world's government. So true. So true. So true. And also sometimes people who go to prison are innocent. Yeah, that's very fucking true. There are innocent people in prison. And that's just reality.
And then for yours, for addiction rehabilitation programs, it's not clear if that's just voluntary or
Yeah.
through the prison system, but the success rate ranges between 30% and 70%.
Mhm.
Relapse rates of 40 to 60% within the first year. So I don't know if that's
Yeah,
helpful,
that is
but-
a great movie.
So my argument is not that we not incarcerate people for these crimes. It's the fact that people can change and rehabilitate. It doesn't mean we even release them into society. It means that you can change people's minds, absolutely, while they're serving a prison sentence. It doesn't mean that they have a right to be reintegrated into society. So that's my thing, is that
Right,
yes, even in prison,
so
you
why-
can go in, even in prison, you can go in and you can preach the Bible to prisoners, or you can show them a better way, and you can absolutely rehabilitate them. I'm not arguing for lax criminal punishment laws. I disagree with
Okay.
that. But you're telling me, oh, you can just go
you
into
don't want
prison.
lax criminal laws,
Correct.
but why would you defend keeping OnlyFans legal? Why should we allow young women to create their own pornography, produce it, and put it out into the public? Why?
I disagree that it's bad, but the why is because then it sets a dangerous precedent for censorship in the future on things that other people don't like. Because let's say then we fall under
So
the
you
government.
think-
Let me finish. Let's say we fall under the government of we have a Democrat president, and they believe that people saying right-wing things on live shows like this is bad. So we are going to ban that. And they did, by the way, under the Biden administration. So that's what I'm saying. Banning things that we don't like and making it illegal is not the way to go. The way to go is showing people why you're right, with arguments, with facts, with logic. And we can't set the precedent that, we as conservatives and Republicans don't like pornography. It's bad. Therefore, we're going to make it illegal. Then when a Democrat president comes along, they'll say Republicans that
I get your point. You don't have to keep repeating and repeating.
I feel
and
like I feel
repeating.
like I need to for you to
No,
understand
it's
this.
not me
So you
who's
got
having
it, and
trouble
everybody at home
tracking.
got it, that it's a bad precedent. Do you understand that
If
then?
you take the libertarian progressive view that you have, sure. But what I would say is we believe in right and wrong, don't we?
Yep.
Okay, why don't we make things illegal if they are inherently morally evil? You said in your opening, pornography is evil. Why would we not criminalize why do we criminalize murder? Why?
Because then somebody that has a different definition of evil than me can criminalize something that I believe
just
in.
landed?
Like, for example,
Cool. So that's awesome.
saying that abortion is murder, then, we should. And by the way, this is actually happening in the UK. If I go out in the UK and I say abortion is murder and I read the Bible, I'm in the middle of the street, I'm going to get arrested. That's what
because
happens.
leftists like you run the UK. People with your same political positions run the UK, and they go, you can't say that. You're going to hurt someone's feelings, and they'll be upset, and then they won't vote for the Labor Party anymore. We need the Muslim vote. Don't tell them they can't have grooming gangs.
I'm making the argument that you don't.
We got a Candace update from Naruto. Candace Owens just released a podcast responding to Trump calling her, Megyn Kelly, Tucker Carlson, low IQ and irrelevant. Maybe we'll watch that next week, Naruto. We do need to do a Candace update at some point, so maybe we'll take a look at that next week for happy hour. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
Ban what you don't like, Rachel.
I'm not banning something because I don't like it. It's not that you think I want to ban pornography because I don't like it or because it's morally wrong.
Okay, that's what I believe too. I think it's morally wrong.
Then why wouldn't you make it illegal?
Because somebody else might think that's something I believe in, like
so you believe in moral relativism. So everybody gets to have their own version of right and wrong?
Like Second Amendment rights. The right to own, guns or whatever, that's morally wrong because it kills people. And then when they're in power, they will ban things that they believe are morally wrong. So that's why you can't set that precedent.
It's almost like this whole everybody voting thing is just a trap, and we're going to end up in a bad position no matter what we do, because it's inherently progressive, and it will give us a progressive society where we can't tell people the truth and we can't say what's right and wrong, because if we offend someone, they won't vote for us. And if we offend this group, they're going to start rioting. Are you starting to figure it out at all?
Offend. again, just because you can't make good arguments that convince people,
I'm not the one
doesn't
who's having
mean-
trouble making good
doesn't
arguments. That
mean-
would be you.
No, you're saying that we should not allow certain blocks of the population to vote because they would, down the line, vote against what you want. And that is obviously not the way to do things. The way to do things is by actually talking to certain blocks
You're
of
not
people.
framing that correctly either, though. I'm not saying, oh, don't let this group vote because then I won't get what I want. I asked
That's what
you-
I believe
Okay,
exactly what
listen,
you're saying.
Let me finish. You just yap and yap and yap. So let me finish first.
Yap.
You said,
Hey, thanks, average person. Can we please watch some Sophie Lewis afterwards? Actually, can I tell you guys a secret? You can't tell anyone. Okay, hang on. I need to look it up for real quick. Hang on. Can I tell you guys a secret? Not next week, but the week after. Not next week, but the week after. We will be doing a very special Sophie Lewis spy stream. Sophie Lewis live. Sophie Lewis spy stream. This is not a normal spy stream on the internet. This is not like a live stream on the internet, like on Haymarket Books. It's not that. It's private Zoom Sophie Lewis spy stream. You're welcome. No big deal. Bosnots, did you ever see the Freedom to... No, I didn't, Bosnots. And I'm not quite frankly sure I want to, but I do appreciate the super chat. Thanks so much.
at the beginning, you work in politics. Your job is to go around the country convincing, especially Spanish-speaking people, to vote for Republicans. You want them to vote for certain things.
I educate yes, personally, yes. But in my current role, yes, I educate people on what are the political policies going on, who's promoting them, what they are, so that they can make educated decisions. Because with education,
I'm trying to do the same thing in a different way. And what I'm trying to tell you is that the fastest way to get to the dystopian nightmare that is the United Kingdom is to do what you're saying we should do. And you are also
not really
showing everybody that you're a moral relativist.
No, I think that the quickest way to get to where the UK is by banning free speech, which is what you just advocated for. And
how did they get there?
And banning things that you don't like.
How did they get there, though? Because the UK hadn't always had laws against free speech.
Nope.
They got that way because of mass immigration, equality, liberalism, all that stuff. Right. And that is what you'll end up with.
Let's address that problem.
That's what you'll end up with every time, because you can't just talk people into doing what's right. People vote based on incentive. No, people vote based on personal incentive.
I agree with that too.
Yes. So if there's a group that comes into the country and they're getting welfare benefits, if there's single moms out there that get welfare benefits,
Which
things
is
like
highly illegal,
they're always going to be voting for that stuff. Yeah. But the reason we got that stuff is because women voted for it. Those things would have never been passed.
I don't think that that having an open border policy for 4 years, like what happened under the previous administration, is something that women voted for.
It is.
It's something that
have you looked at the polling data?
Women did
on men versus women on
did
open
women,
borders.
Did women vote for the Mexican-American border to be completely open so that 20
They voted for
so that
all
20
of the
million
people who
can
instituted those
come
policies.
in?
Yes. Yes.
No, they did not.
Yes, they did.
Well,
have you looked at border states? You just keep talking about presidential elections.
That's
Look
not
at border
something
states.
anybody has
Would either of you
ever-
like me to look up any stats on this? On the are men or women more in favor of illegal immigration?
Of open
Or open
or
borders.
immigration,
I think
whatever.
a better one would be the percentage of Americans that are for voter ID, right? It's 83% nationally. So men and women, Democrat and Republican, for the most part, agree on this. So women are not just these
I'm not saying
irrational
everything
people.
women want is terrible and horrible.
Okay.
I'm
just
not.
the things you don't like.
It's not about me and what I like. I'm saying there's an objective right and wrong, and there's objective morality.
I agree
You're
with
the
that.
one who thinks that we should be pandering to people's emotions.
Yes, actually, you know what? That's a great lesson to learn, is that people don't care about what you say until they know that you care about something.
Right.
So
women for sure.
Yes,
men are much
and
more
men
open
too.
to logical. It's not
And men
100%,
too, but that's why you
women are
have to-
far more easily swayed and
Sure.
propagandized by emotion.
Sure, but that means that then
I don't
you
want a
have to
country
be-
run off of that system. I don't
you
want
have
that.
to, Rachel, it's called adapting, right? And adapting to the situation. As somebody that has worked with many different people before, managed teams of people, I know that if I have a group of 10, that they're going to have different personalities. I have this message that I need to get to them, and I need to deliver it in 10 different ways so that it comes across a certain way. This is emotional intelligence, Rachel.
Oh, yes.
which we
Emotional
can-
intelligence, which is
which
made
we can-
up nonsense.
It is made up nonsense,
Emotional
actually.
intelligence is
True.
nonsense.
And get
That's
better.
garbage. Garbage pop psychology.
Okay.
I have been arguing against the idea of emotional fucking intelligence for like literally how long? At least 15 fucking years. Emotional intelligence, that whole thing, that was Marshall Goldsmith who wrote a book about it. It was a marketing term. It's not like, I wouldn't say pop psychology. Like, it's one of those things where like it's like nuggets of truth covered in a mound of bullshit. So Rachel is more correct than she's wrong on that one. Filthy Irish Peasant, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate it. I don't know exactly. Emmy, come on. Not sure what that means, but I appreciate the money. Thank you.
Do you believe in horoscopes too?
Emotional intelligence.
Yes, I 100% believe in horoscopes, although not all horoscopes are created equal. Yes.
She believes in horoscopes too.
We're not going to get into a horse. We're not going to get into horoscopes.
Do you
We're
believe
gonna-
in them, though?
We're gonna. I'm not even.
She
gonna-
does.
I'm not even
Just
gonna. I'm not even gonna answer that.
I
Or
am.
entertain it. Let's
really-
stick to the topic.
Really quick, why don't we do let's let a few chats come through, and then we can also dive into a different
I know it's
prompt.
quoting at me. I just don't get the
But
reference.
First, we have Jim Bob Smith. Thank you for your soup chat. Does the blonde on the right think MAGA and Trump is conservative? She is a conservative in the same liberal way Trump is. Do you want to respond to that?
Trump's a Democrat.
No, no. They can write anything they want. I usually don't respond to people.
Well, I mean, they send in the chats,
It's a valid
but-
point though. Trump is a 90s Democrat and he's
Wait, that stupid blonde girl is like, I think we should educate everyone. I'm an educator. I educate everyone. And then someone sends her a super chat asking like a very valid question. And she says, oh, I'm sorry. I don't respond to people. Not so much the educator, are you?
the classical liberal, and so are you.
I think that there's things that I agree with Trump on most things, not all things. I'm not a blind follower of any politician, period.
All right, we have a chat here from
I don't know what they're debating.
hold
It's
on.
already gone off the rails.
Brian's conscious. Shit, I should have listened to the unknown soldier when he said to never have this low IQ nitwit back on the show. Good thing another Wilson is here, so this
A nitwit. A nitwit. On nitwits. There's a nitwit on nitwits. Look at that. Saying thank you, Cynthia, for the $20. These people fighting to force conservatism on everyone are so aggravating. Yeah, they are. They're clueless and don't know how they should be fighting against communism. So true, Cynthia. So true. It's much bigger than their tiny world and views. Yes. Yes. And this is why Cynthia is our queen, guys. Not just because she sends in gifted channel memberships all the time, but because Cynthia actually knows what the fuck she's talking about, and she's just so on point. She gets it. She understands. Thank you, Cynthia.
episode is actually making money. Okay, thank you for that. We have a chat here from Desert Jorge. He writes,
Desert
Rachel, here are the
Jorge.
facts. Driana, did I say it right?
Yep.
Driana. Driana. Well, that's just like your opinion. I feel that you just hate yourself, and I feel like I know what is right and what is wrong. Shout out to the Discord homies. Thank you, Desert Jorge.
You know,
Do
I
you wanna
haven't even
respond to that?
said that yet, that, you know, you hate yourself. I mean, I was planning on using that bomb at some point, but, you know, I guess
You
that's
got
not it for
me. I hate myself.
And we have one more here. Whatever fan, Rachel, I'm passing out the plates for this barbecue cooking. You're going to do and feed the whole chat from whatever fan. Thank you for that.
Well, she believes her role is in the kitchen, so I think that's
do.
appropriate.
In fact, the kitchen is the best room in the house. Can't wait to get back there. I even got a hotel room with the kitchenette in it
Nice.
because I wanted to cook my own food.
Nice. Guys,
The kitchen is awesome.
If you're enjoying the stream, please like the video. Also, quick reminder, $10 display, $99 and up for reads. Also, really quick, Tiffany, can you just pull up Twitch? Guys, if you're watching over there on Twitch, or you can open up another tab, go to twitch.tv/whatever. Drop us a follow and a Prime sub if you have one. If you have Amazon Prime, you can link it to your Twitch. Quick, free, easy way to support the show every single month. And so that we can put on more debates just like this. And if you're enjoying the stream, of course, like the video. Right back to the debate. Let me propose a few, unless there's something that
Let's
you guys
get back
wanna,
on like no fault divorce.
I could get into some of the prompts here.
We got to do no fault divorce at some point here.
Yeah, and women's contributions to the home and their market value would be a good one to talk
You
about.
also, in a social media post, you had referred to Rachel as a pick me. I don't know if you guys want to dive into that.
I just don't know I just don't know what the reference to come on was. So I appreciate your quoting Emmy O'Brien. I just don't understand the reference. That's all I was saying. I understood the reference. I just didn't understand what you were saying.
What is a pick me?
A pick me is somebody that panders to
thank you
manosphere men's
appreciate
audiences for just the sake of relevancy, and saying, women belong in the kitchen, barefoot and naked, all the different tropes.
I would never say to be barefoot and naked in the kitchen.
And pregnant in the kitchen, those kinds of tropes. Everything that a certain demographic of people want to hear just for relevancy, not because it's something you believe, you practice, or that is correct.
Okay, so you don't think that I believe or practice the stuff I'm saying?
No, I don't.
For the most part, yeah. I mean, you're very against women having a voice in politics, yet we're debating here for what? It's been 2 hours or something like that.
I'm against women. I'm against women voting. I am continuing the proud
I
tradition
know.
of
you
my
voted,
of
but
my anti-suffrage.
But Rachel, you voted before.
Like, it's not even moderating. This is just two bitches fighting, two annoying bitches arguing. It's like, the only reason we're watching this is because I owe Trendlin a favor. Just remember, Trendlin picked this. I didn't. Thank you, KK, for the super chat. I appreciate it.
Or in the past.
Yes, I'll explain.
Okay, let's explain that.
Yes.
Go ahead.
So first of all, I'm here to.
And you'll never vote again?
Shush your mouth.
You'll
for
never
5
vote again.
seconds, you little yappy machine. I'm getting to it. It's my turn to talk now.
Go for it.
I'm here to carry on the proud tradition of the majority of women who are against women's suffrage and did not want to be a political voting bloc, and were very happy with their duties as mothers and wives and community builders and thought that was extremely important. I agree with them wholeheartedly and all their reasons why they didn't want the vote. Now, yes, I did vote. And yes, I will vote again.
We heard about it. Can someone tell me, is there an episode of Kino Casino tonight? I would imagine they're going to have something to say about this. Let me know. Are they on? Oh, they're on right now? They literally just started? Oh, shit. Trendlin. The casino doesn't look like it's live yet, but we might have to watch the casino tonight. We might have to. It looks like they just started the stream. Like, they literally just started it. So there's going to be like an hour or like a half hour long like introduction or something where they play a bunch of fucking videos and stuff like that. Trendlin, we may need to switch over to the casino. Okay? We might need to do that. Trendlin, are you okay with that? Are you okay with us switching over to the casino in like 20 minutes? Like, we've got a little bit of like time. We'll watch a little bit more of this. Trendlin, can we go watch the casino though? Can we go watch the casino, talk about the corner? Can we who wants to see the casino? 1 for casino, 2 for whatever podcast. Please, Trendlin, release us. Release us. Trendlin has released us. Yes. 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 Okay. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to watch this for like another 10 minutes or so. And then we're going to shut down this stream, and I'm going to make a new stream about the casino, and we're going to go to a new stream in about like, 15 minutes or something like that. But we'll continue with this. Friendlin has a heart. She has released us from the commitment so that we can go watch the casino. Everyone, W's Trendlin in the chat. Thank you, Trendlin. We love you. We appreciate you. We very much appreciate the recording that you got from us so expertly. Let's watch a little bit more of this, and I will set up for the casino, okay?
And I'll tell you why. To cancel the vote of a feminist somewhere and to double my husband's vote. However you want to look at it. Whoever Andrew votes for, that's who I vote for, and that's how I'm going to cancel out some feminists somewhere.
So
Okay. Okay, I will make you a deal, Trendlin. I will play the Penguin song on the outro, okay? I will play the fucking Penguin song on the outro. Fine.
Against voting. You voted in the past. We'll vote in the future. If that's not hypocrisy, I don't know what is, Rachel.
Okay, let me ask you a question.
Do you think people watching
You just
would
said I'm a
think-
hypocrite. Let me address it.
Yes, you are.
If I had had an abortion when I was in college, let's say, like you said, when you were in college and you get told that it's really not bad, it's not even a life, whatever. I get pregnant, I have an abortion in college, and then later I learn, wait, that is actually murdering a human being. I'm against that and it's wrong. And I go out and I tell people, don't get an abortion. It's wrong. Am I a hypocrite?
No, because you actually changed your behavior based on new information.
Well,
that
it's
you
not
got.
a behavior you can change.
You can change your ideas, what you espouse, and your behavior based on new information.
So if
that you
I
get.
vote,
you'd be a hypocrite.
If I vote to
You'd be a
cancel a
hypocrite.
feminist vote,
You'd
that's
be a
hypocritical.
hypocrite, Rachel, is if you found out this information personally were against abortion. Now that you know this, that it's bad and murder, and then still went out and told women abortion is okay and it's not murder, then that is hypocrisy. In your case, what we were talking about previously.
Oh, yeah. Happy birthday, Trendlin. I forgot it was Trendlin's birthday. Happy birthday, Trendlin. We hope I totally but Trendlin, don't be offended. I barely even remember what day it is at this point. So don't be offended. I never remember anyone's birthday except when I do. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But like if I ever forget your birthday, it's not actually a function of the fact that like I've forgotten the date of your birthday. It's a function of the fact that I usually don't know what the day of the week is. I usually don't even know what the date is. So happy birthday, Trendlin. We love you. We love you. Thank you for this gift that you're giving us tonight by letting us finish this up and going to watch the casino.
Was voting, right? So you don't believe women should have the right to vote.
But
you
I
voted
live in
the past.
reality,
You
Brianna.
vote in the future.
Oh, the casino's gonna be fire tonight. He got Andy Worski's channel nuke too. Oh, they're gonna be fire tonight. Okay.
We don't want to deny reality. You keep telling Andrew he was denying reality. We live in this time and place we live in, okay? So I have to be here talking to women like you. I have to be here talking to women like you to talk some sense into you, to persuade everybody out there that you're wrong. And I have to go and vote. Because otherwise, only the feminists are going to vote.
You don't have to do anything.
Oh,
Rachel.
I do. It's my duty.
Who's forcing you?
It's my duty.
Oh, it's your duty.
Yes.
Okay.
Speaking of which, do you think women have duties?
Women have duties. Do you think?
Well, women have rights. You've spent the whole time talking about what rights women have. Do women have duties?
I think adults have duties. Yes.
Well,
what duties do you think women have?
Well, you would say men have a duty
what
to
duties
protect the homeland,
what
right?
duties do you believe women have?
Oh, I'm not going to give you any answers. I want to know what you think. I know what I think.
I think that adults have duties and responsibilities as adults.
But are they the same?
And in a
are men's and women's duties the same?
In a family context, then those differ, right?
Yep.
Or they may be similar depending on the structure that they have set up. So, for example, in the past, when people could afford to live on one income and the man could afford to have a
I agree with this. Thank you, JR. Guys, if you're getting a tax refund check, please consider a tax-deductible donation to the Center for Left-Wing Studies to support my work mapping the modern activist left in America. JR recently made a $1,000 donation to the Center for Left-Wing Studies, so he is our hero for that. I think it's a good thing to do, guys. You get a tax deduction. You get a tax deduction. You get to save money by giving my nonprofit money. How cool is that? How cool is that? Thank you.
home wife, then obviously the roles of men and women differed to make it a working partnership, right? Nowadays, unfortunately, and this is not any of our faults other than the government and elite politicians and all that, most men and women do have to work within the family structure. So then obviously their duties and their roles and responsibilities within the households have changed. They have to adapt so that things make sense.
Such a long answer. You could have given me like a 5-word answer. It would have been way better. No, because you like to hear yourself talk.
So you like to hear
do
me
men?
talk too, or else
No,
you
I
wouldn't
really
come here.
don't. Do men have a duty to protect our nation?
I think that, well, hold on, let me unpack that.
Whose duty is it to protect
our
the nation?
How?
From enemies, foreign and domestic.
Yes, foreign and domestic. So it depends, right? So men can be police officers, so can women. That would be protecting against domestic enemies, right? Police officers, FBI agents, TSA agents.
Yeah, I know what they are, but do you think both men and women should equally do those jobs? Or is that men's duty?
So your question is very broad because both men and women.
No, I'll make it very concise.
Do protect this country domestically and abroad.
When it comes to force, ultimately, when it comes to force, there's a bunch of illegals trying to cross the border.
Okay, I lied. Because Trendalin wants us to end with the Penguin song, we are going to play out this stream with the Penguin song, and I would like everyone to join me on the new stream. Rumble, I have to shut your stream down before I start a new one, so join us for the casino. Rumble, I will shut your stream down in a couple minutes, and we'll start a new stream over there, so you'll be able to find that. I promised Trendle and I would play out with the Penguin song. We are playing out with the Penguin song. We'll be going live for the Kino Casino live reaction stream in just a couple minutes. Here you go, guys. Here you go.
No matter how you're born, we each have a style. I'll tell you in a while exactly what I like.
Ariana and Renee, they both are born girls. They go into their changing rooms. Ariana loves twirl. That's not for Renee. Pink will not do. All girls don't wear dresses, they wear pants too. Has Renee lost her mind? What's running through her head? Ariana can fix this, no is what she said.
When you put it on, you do a little groove. You know you've got to move. That's how you know you've got it right. This is me, who I am. See me in full color, it's me like no other. Originality. No matter how you're born, we each have a style. I'll tell you in a while exactly what I like.
Bryce and Jason, they both are born boys. They go into their changing rooms. Bryce jumps out with joy. Jason has a different idea. The sweater is where it's at. Bryce has to fix this. Here, try this or that. Wait just 1 second. Don't tell him how to dress. Ariana knows this. Only Jason can express.
This is me, who I am. See me in full color, it's me like no other. Originality. No matter how you're born, we each have a style. I'll tell you in a while exactly what I like.
Darla and Charles, one girl and one boy. They go into their changing rooms. Charles is feeling coy. Others are thrilled with the look, but Charles is quite unhappy. Let's try this again. Yeah, this is snappy. Some are confused. They just don't understand. Charles, now Charlotte is certain. Ariana is her biggest fan. Some might keep their distance, but others will come around. Come on over, Darla. Show us what you found. Darla had something on, but is not quite convinced. She wants to try again, yet she still gives a wince. Nope, not right either. Why can't she decide? Sometimes it takes time, only she can find her stride. Darla presents an outfit. The new name is Darren. Now everything feels right. The person within he's sharing.
When you put it on, you do a little groove. You know you've got to move. That's how you know you've got it right. This is me, who I am. See me in full color, it's me like no other. Originality.
Here we have Skylar, born a boy or girl. Not interested in the girl look. Won't give the boy look a whirl. Skylar wants a new path, and it isn't one of those. This is a unique look from Skylar's head to toe.
When you put it on, you end. See me in full color, it's me like no other. Originality.